One second I'm enjoying some premium artistic content on my computer, and the next, BM, I wake up in some ancient Chinese dynasty with a carved wooden ceiling above my head and zero idea what's going on. My throat feels like sandpaper. I croak out, "Where am I?" And suddenly a bunch of old dudes in doctor robes start celebrating like they just won the lottery. Turns out these are royal physicians, and if I had died, their heads were rolling too. No pressure. Then before I can even process anything, a girl launches herself at me crying. Now, I gotta be real with you. The first thing I notice is, well, let's just say this girl has a baby face, but is absolutely not a baby anywhere else. She smothers me in what I can only describe as the world's most dangerous hug. I literally almost suffocated. What a way to go twice. She's calling me, young master, and crying. And I'm like, who are you? She looks at me like I just slapped her grandma. Then, wham! A tidal wave of memories hits my brain like someone plugged a fire hose into my skull. Turns out I'm now Chu Feng, the biggest spoiled brat in the entire Great Qin dynasty. My resume? Legendary. Drinking, gambling, scamming, chasing women. I did it all, apparently with great enthusiasm and zero shame. But check out my family tree, because it's ridiculous. My grandpa, the prime minister, basically runs the whole government. My dad, they call him the god of war. He's got 300,000 cavalry soldiers and conquered thousands of miles of territory. 3 older sisters who are all absolute bosses. And then there's me, the family disappointment. The guy who took all that elite DNA and said, nah, I'm gonna be a professional clown. Last night, old me got into a fist fight with some rich kid over a courtesan. A courtesan. And I lost. Got beaten half to death. That's how the original owner checked out, and I checked in. Thanks for the body, bro. Real nice condition you left it in. So I'm lying there processing all this when, boom, the bedroom door gets kicked clean off its hinges. Splinters everywhere. In walks the biggest, scariest dude I've ever seen, covered in armor and radiating, "I will end you," energy. I asked that useless son of mine dead yet. That's my dad. Father of the year, everyone. He takes one look at me and goes on a rant about how I embarrassed the family by fighting over a woman and losing. And then he raises his giant palm and says he's gonna break my 3 legs. Yes. 3. He was coming for everything. I just got here, man. I haven't even enjoyed being rich yet, and this psycho wants to turn me into a eunuch. But then, my grandpa explodes through the door like a silver-haired hurricane. This tiny old man just swats away my dad's attack like it's a mosquito and starts absolutely roasting the god of war. You want to hit my grandson? I'll beat you first, my dad. The guy who commands 300,000 soldiers and makes entire nations tremble, is standing there with his head down like a kid who got caught stealing cookies. Didn't say a word. Grandpa is the real final boss of this family. Now I understand why the old me turned out this way. With a grandpa like this, you could literally set the Capitol on fire and get away with it. Grandpa rushes to my bedside all sweet and worried, checking on me like I scraped my knee at recess. Then his face goes dark and he starts screaming for the guards to grab their weapons because we're going to destroy the other family's entire estate. Just wipe them off the map. Over a fist fight. Between teenagers. Even my dad is like, "Father, if you do this, the whole city will explode." And Grandpa goes, "So what? Not my problem. I had to physically stop this man from starting a war." I told him I'd handle it myself, and he thought about it for a second, then said, "Fine, but they still owe us. That kid who beat you up has an older sister named Yi Hongwan. She's gonna marry you as an apology." The second that name dropped, everyone in the room froze. My dad, the servants, everybody. And when I dug through my borrowed memories to figure out who she was, I froze too. And that's where we're leaving it, folks. Chapter 1 of my new life as the dynasty's biggest disaster, with the world's most overprotective grandpa, a dad who wants to neuter me, a maid who could weaponize her hugs, and apparently a marriage situation that just made everyone in the room lose their minds. I didn't ask for any of this. But honestly, could be worse. Okay, so remember how everyone in the room froze when Grandpa dropped the name Yi Hongwan? Yeah, now I understand why. Let me paint you a picture of my future wife. This woman, this absolute demon in human skin, grew up in military camps like it was daycare. At 13, she was already on battlefields chopping people up. 13. When I was 13, I was struggling with long division and she was out there collecting bodies like Pokemon cards. But here's the part that really made my soul leave my body. 3 years ago, she took 5,000 soldiers, rode deep into enemy territory, and smashed through 3 fortified cities. Then, when 100,000 enemy soldiers came at her for a last stand, you know what she did. She said, "Kill them all, everyone." 300,000 people, soldiers and civilians, gone in one night. Rivers of blood, mountains of corpses. The whole southern kingdom now wets their pants at the sound of her name. They call her the Great Qian's #1 female god of slaughter. And Grandpa wants me to marry her. My face went green. Like actual green. This isn't a wife. This is an express ticket to the afterlife. If we ever have a disagreement about what to eat for dinner, she might literally remove my head from my shoulders. Even my dad, the god of war, got nervous. He tried to talk Grandpa out of it, saying, "Father, she commands an entire army. Her reputation rivals mine. Why would she marry him?" He almost called me a worthless piece of trash, but caught himself at the last second. "Thanks, Dad. Real touching. But Grandpa? Grandpa don't care." Grandpa said, and I quote the energy, "Her brother hit my grandson. She pays the price. She marries my boy, or I personally go over there and turn her brother into dog food. Those are the only 2 options." My dad, the man who makes kingdoms tremble, just nodded and said, "Yes, Father," then left to deliver the most insane marriage proposal in history. I tried to save myself. I really did. "Grandpa, maybe let's not. You can't force love, right? Like, a forced melon isn't sweet and all that? Nonsense." Grandpa instantly switched back to sweet old man mode, patted my hand, and smiled. "Little foam, you're old enough for a wife. And trust me, I've seen this Yi Hongwan girl. She's absolutely gorgeous. You'll love her." Then he just walked out, humming a little tune, like he didn't just arrange my funeral disguised as a wedding. Dad gave me one last complicated look, did his signature cold grunt, and bounced too. And there I was, alone, in bed, staring at the ceiling. God, are you messing with me right now? I'm a useless waste of space who can't even win a bar fight, and you want me to share a bed with a woman who once deleted 300,000 people in a single night? That's like putting a chihuahua in a cage with a T-Rex and saying, "Good luck, have fun." But then, right when I was planning my own eulogy, I heard it. A cute little voice, like a tiny anime girl living inside my brain. A mere female god of slaughter? Master doesn't need to worry. I nearly jumped out of my skin. Who's there? Nobody. Just me and the maid. But the voice came again, and when I looked deep inside my mind, I found it. A tiny ancient tower, about 9 inches tall, floating in my consciousness, wrapped in black and white energy, radiating vibes from the literal beginning of the universe. "Master, I'm the spirit of the Inyang creation tower. You can call me Linger." I almost cried tears of joy. The cheat code. The golden finger. Every transmigrator gets one, and mine finally showed up. I asked what it does, and little Linger got all excited. The tower has 9 floors. Each floor gives you insane stuff. Martial arts techniques, magic pills, legendary weapons, special bloodlines. Everything. You just need enough yin-yang energy to unlock each floor. My heart was pounding. How do I get this yin-yang energy? Well, all things have yin and yang, but the purest source comes from the union of man and woman. Oh, and if the woman has a special body constitution or a powerful bloodline, the energy is even stronger and the benefits are even better. I stood there with my brain completely short-circuiting. Special body constitution, powerful bloodline. And then it hit me like a freight train. Yi Hongwan, the woman who solo carried entire wars, who commanded armies as a woman in a world that doesn't exactly hand those jobs out, whose talent and bloodline must be absolutely off the charts. The marriage that felt like a death sentence 5 minutes ago, it just became the greatest opportunity of my entire life. Both lives. This isn't a killer wife. This is a premium cultivation resource delivered straight to my door by my own grandpa. I mean, ahem, she's a heaven-sent soulmate. Yes, that's what I meant. A beautiful, destined partner. Definitely not thinking of her as a power-up. Nope, not at all. My breathing got heavy. My eyes were practically glowing. This woman, this female god of death, I'm marrying her if it's the last thing I do. Which, honestly, it very well might be. Okay, so while I was lying in bed having a mental breakdown about my upcoming marriage/execution, the news of Grandpa's insane proposal hit the streets like a nuclear bomb. In half a day, the entire capital city knew that the biggest loser in the dynasty was trying to marry the scariest woman alive. Now let me tell you what was happening at the Yi family mansion, because my dad went over there to deliver Grandpa's ultimatum, and it was basically two dinosaurs trying to kill each other. Old man Yi Tianxiong, Hongwan's grandpa, the former Grand Marshal, a guy who's basically a walking war memorial, was so mad he slapped a solid wooden table and cracked it like a cookie. A solid table. These old people in this world are terrifying. Your family is going too far, he screamed at my dad. Your son is a known waste of space. A cockfighting, dog racing, good-for-nothing nobody. What gives him the right to even look at my granddaughter? And my dad, gotta give it to him, didn't even blink. Just stood there like a refrigerator and said, cool as ice, my son is the heir of the Marquis household. He's good enough for your granddaughter. Then he dropped the real bomb. Also, your grandson nearly killed my son. If my boy had actually died, you wouldn't be having this conversation right now. You'd be having a funeral. Your funeral. Because my father would have burned this entire estate to the ground. And the thing is, he wasn't bluffing. Everyone in that room knew Grandpa would absolutely do it. This is a man who once pointed his finger at the emperor's face and cussed him out. He has zero chill. Negative chill. He is an anti-chill machine. Old man Ye's face was doing a light show. Green, white, green, white. Because he knew it too. He tried offering money, compensation, medical bills, anything. My dad just smirked and said, you think we need your pocket change? Then he laid it out flat. Marry the girl to my son, or start picking a coffin for your grandson. Those are your only two options. Have a nice day. Both old warriors powered up. The air between them literally cracked the floor. Every servant in the building was shaking like a leaf in a hurricane. It was about to be the most destructive grandpa fight in recorded history. And then, I'll marry him. Everyone froze. Again, what is it with this story and everyone freezing? Standing in the doorway was Yi Hongwan herself. Now, according to my memories, I'd never actually seen this woman before. But based on what my dad saw, good lord. Tall, athletic, jet black hair tied back in a no-nonsense ponytail. Face so perfect it looked like God spent extra time on it. Skin like snow, eyes like frozen stars. But here's the thing, her face had zero emotion. Nothing. Nada. Like staring into the void. The temperature in the room literally dropped just because she walked in. This woman radiates. I will end your bloodline. Energy the way normal people radiate body heat. Her grandpa immediately went from war mode to worried grandpa mode. Hongwan, no. I will never let you marry that worthless brat. She completely ignored him. Walked straight to the center of the hall, looked my dad dead in the eyes, and said, tell the Chu family I accept. Even my dad was suspicious. He squinted at her. You sure about that? And then she smiled. But it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile a cat gives a mouse right before it starts playing. Cold. Mocking. Absolutely devastating. I have one condition. My dad. What condition? The Qianlong Rankings tournament is in 1 month. It happens once every 10 years. Make Chu Feng compete. If he places in the top 10, I'll put on the wedding dress and walk through your gates. If he can't, the wedding is off. All debts between our families are settled. And if you refuse that, well, my army versus your army. Let's see who's left standing. Let me explain why this is basically her telling my entire family to go screw themselves, but politely. The Qianlong Rankings is like the Super Bowl of young talent in the entire dynasty. Every genius under 30 competes. The top 100 get fame, glory, and access to the royal weapon vault. These are monsters raised by the most powerful families, and just making the list requires being at least at the Meridian opening realm. The top 10? Those are freaks of nature. Every single one is at the innate realm. Basically superhumans among superhumans. And me? Your boy Chu Feng? I haven't even reached level 1 of basic body tempering. Level 1. The tutorial level. The congratulations you can do a push-up level. My body is so wrecked from partying that I'm basically a wet noodle with a pulse. Asking me to crack the top 10 of the Qianlong Rankings is like asking a goldfish to win the Kentucky Derby. It's not even a challenge, it's a joke. A beautifully constructed, ice-cold, sophisticated insult wrapped in the thinnest layer of politeness. She was basically saying, your grandson is trash, and we all know it. Here's an impossible task so you can figure that out for yourselves and leave me alone. My dad went quiet, then just said, fine, I'll deliver your terms, and left. After he was gone, old man Yi looked at his granddaughter all worried, and she explained her strategy. Their family is weaker than ours. Her brother did start the fight, and a head-on collision with Grandpa would be suicide. So she gave us an impossible condition to buy a month of peace and make our family back off on their own when I inevitably fail. Smart, calculated, ruthless. In her mind, asking me to make the top 10 in 1 month is more impossible than the sun rising in the west. And honestly, if I didn't have a magical ancient tower with a cute anime girl living inside it, she'd be absolutely right. But she doesn't know about that, does she? Cracks knuckles, game on, wifey. So the news got back to our family mansion and Grandpa's reaction was predictable. He obliterated another table. That's 2 tables in 1 day. Someone in this dynasty must be making a fortune selling furniture to angry old men. Who does that girl think she is? Marrying my grandson should be the honor of her lifetime. And she dares make conditions. Then he screamed at my dad to go kidnap her. Just straight up kidnap a military commander. Grandpa's solution to every problem is violence, and I honestly respect the consistency. But my dad, for once, was the voice of reason. Father, she commands an entire army. If we grab her by force, her soldiers will riot, the capital goes up in flames, and we'll be playing right into someone else's hands. That last part got Grandpa's attention. Someone else's hands? What do you mean? My dad dropped a bombshell. He'd investigated last night's fight, and the whole thing stank of a setup. The way I, accidentally, ran into that Yi Hao kid, the argument that escalated perfectly on cue, the guards who went way too hard, hitting to kill, not just rough up. Someone orchestrated the entire thing to make our 2 families destroy each other. And that's when yours truly made his entrance. I walked into the meeting hall wearing white robes, still looking a bit pale, but with completely different eyes than the old Chu Feng. Sharp, clear, like a whole new person. Because, well, I'm a whole new person. Dad's right, I said. Those guards were trying to murder me. Every strike was aimed at vital points. That Yi Hao kid is a spoiled brat, but he's not stupid enough to have me killed in the middle of the capital. Someone was pulling strings. My dad and Grandpa both stared at me like I'd grown a second head. This was the same guy who, 24 hours ago, couldn't form a thought more complex than, where's the nearest bar? Now I'm doing tactical analysis. Must have been quite the whiplash for them. Grandpa went ballistic, in a good way this time. Someone's got the balls to scheme against MY family? Find them. Dig up every rock in this city if you have to. Then he softened up and looked at me about Hongluan's condition, the impossible top 10 Qianlong rankings challenge. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, I accept. 1 month. Top 10. I'll do it. Silence. My dad broke first. Are you insane? Your body is so destroyed by booze and women that you couldn't beat a stiff breeze. Top 10 of the Qianlong rankings? You're dreaming. Grandpa immediately smacked him on the back of the head. Whap. Don't talk to my grandson like that. He's showing ambition. I believe in him. Then Grandpa went full sugar daddy mode. Someone bring me the 9 revolution golden pill from the vault, and the 1,000-year blood ginseng, and the 10,000-year spirit mushroom. Bring everything. I'll stuff so many treasures into this boy that he'll power level into the top 10, whether he likes it or not. My heart warmed up. This old man would literally bankrupt the family treasury just to help me flex. But I shook my head. No need, Grandpa. I have my own way. I gave them my most mysterious smile and walked out, leaving them both standing there with their jaws on the floor. Back in my room, I started thinking about where to find a woman with a special body constitution to power up my tower. Hongluan was the obvious choice, but she's not exactly available for tower charging activities. Right now, that's when Schwanger walked in with a basin of hot water. Young master, time to change your bandages. And immediately, Linger's little voice popped up in my head, practically vibrating with excitement. Master, master, this little maid has a profound body. It's only a basic level special constitution, but it's more than enough to open the tower's first floor. I looked at Schwanger. This girl who had no parents, who was tricked and almost sold to a brothel before the old me stumbled across her and bought her freedom. She'd been loyal to a version of me that honestly didn't deserve it. I had a moment of internal conflict. A brief one. Then survival instinct and the desperate need to not die in 1 month kicked in. I walked up to her. She started blushing so hard I thought her face might actually catch fire. Schwanger, would you be willing to be my woman? Her eyes went huge, then filled with tears. Happy tears. She nodded so hard I thought her head would fly off. Schwanger belongs to the young master in life and in death. And I picked her up, carried her to the bed, and, well, scene redacted for your imagination. Meanwhile, and I didn't know this yet, across the city in some creepy fortified mansion, a guy called the Third Prince was having a full meltdown. He was the one behind the whole setup. He planned for me to die so our families would go to war, and then he'd swoop in, ally with the Yi family, and snag Hong Luan for himself. This dude was basically a stalker with a crown. When he found out I survived and was now trying to marry the girl he wanted, he smashed his fancy teacup and screamed, "Useless. All of you." Then he ordered assassins from something called the Dark Netherworld Tower to kill me within 3 days. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So there's a psycho prince sending professional killers after me. Good to know. Would have been nice if someone had mentioned this earlier. But back to the important stuff. When Schwanger and I connected, something incredible happened. A mysterious yin-yang energy erupted from her body and flooded into my consciousness, straight into the little tower. The tower hummed, glowed, and the door to the first floor swung open. My mind got sucked inside. I found myself in a void of pure chaos. Nothing existed except a massive golden god figure sitting in the center of everything, so big it touched the sky. It opened its eyes that looked like they'd seen the birth and death of 1,000 universes, and pointed one finger at my forehead. With the power of creation, I grant you the divine demon supreme body. I bestow upon you the ultimate technique, the chaos divine demon art. And just like that, in the span of one very eventful evening, I went from, can't even do a push-up, to receiving a god-tier body upgrade and the most broken martial arts technique in existence. From zero to chosen one. From trash to treasure. From, he probably can't fight a house cat, to downloaded cosmic powers directly into his brain. All because I slept with my maid. This cultivation system is wild, and I am here for it. After my quality time with Schwanger, something absolutely insane happened inside my body. That golden god figure from the tower basically grabbed my entire physical being and threw it into a cosmic blender set to maximum upgrade. Every muscle, every bone, every cell was getting demolished and rebuilt from scratch. It felt like being microwaved from the inside out, except instead of dying, I was getting jacked. My power levels went through the roof like a rocket with no brakes. Body tempering level 1. 5. 9 maxed out. Then, boom, broke straight through to energy gathering realm. Then it kept going. By the time I opened my eyes, it was dark outside. I looked at my hands, squeezed my fist, and the air itself popped like a balloon. Just from me closing my fingers. Yesterday, I couldn't win a fist fight with a teenager, and now I'm making the atmosphere my personal bubble wrap. I'd reached Meridian Opening Realm, level 1. For reference, that's the minimum requirement just to get on the Qianlong Rankings top 100. I went from literally below tutorial level to competitive in one session. And with my new Divine Demon Supreme body, I could probably fight people way above my level 2. Still nowhere near Hongwan's league, but hey, I've got a month and a magic tower that runs on. Well, you know, speaking of which, I looked over at Schwanger sleeping next to me. She had dried happy tears on her eyelashes and the sweetest little smile. My heart melted a bit. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. She woke up, saw my face inches away, and buried herself under the blankets like a tomato trying to hide from a salad. I grinned. Night's still young. Round 2, scene redacted again. When I finally walked out of my room feeling like 1,000,000 gold coins, someone was standing in the courtyard waiting for me. Moonlight. Long shadow. Arms crossed. Dad. He looked at me with the most disgusted expression a father has ever given a son. You really can't help yourself, can you? You even went after your own maid. I shrugged. Hey, better to keep it in the family than let good things go to waste. Before he could smack me, he introduced a woman standing behind him. Athletic build, ice-cold face, dressed in green. Her name was Qing Yao, Bluebird. She's your new bodyguard. She stays with you at all times. I glanced at her, and immediately Ling started screaming in my brain like a kid who just spotted a candy store. Master, Master, she has the bloodline of the ancient divine bird Qingwan. It's diluted, but it's definitely there. She's a walking power-up, a supreme-grade cultivation battery. Master, please. I kept my face completely blank. Cool as a cucumber. Didn't even twitch. Got it, I said to my dad, casual as anything. Then I walked out of the mansion with my brand new beautiful bodyguard who is definitely just a bodyguard and nothing else. Nope. No ulterior thoughts here whatsoever. My destination? The Pleasure District. The exact same place where I almost died last night. Look, I'm not stupid. Someone set me up. Someone wanted me dead. And the best place to start pulling on that thread is the scene of the crime. Plus, I have a reputation to maintain. I'm the #1 playboy in the dynasty, remember? Can't have people thinking near-death experiences changed me. That would be suspicious. The district was lit up like a carnival. Music, laughter, expensive perfume, the whole 9 yards. I strolled in with my folding fan. Qing Yao behind me looking like she wanted to murder everyone in the building, and the entire room went silent. Then the whispers started. Is that the Chu waste? Didn't he almost die last night? And he's back. What a degenerate. Just crawled back from death's door, and he's already here again. Shut up. His dad is the god of war. You want to get killed? The madam of the house, Madame Feng, this heavily made-up older woman, came rushing over. And I noticed something interesting. The instant she saw me, pure panic flashed across her face before she slapped on her professional smile. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh my, young Master Chu. Last night scared me half to death. Are you all right? I tilted my head and gave her my best. I know what you did, smile. Why? Were you hoping I wasn't? Her smile almost cracked. Almost. She recovered with some flirty deflection, but I could see her sweating underneath all that makeup. Before I could press further, some idiot decided to open his mouth. Well, if it isn't the famous young Master Chu. I heard you got beaten like a dead dog over a woman last night. And you have the nerve to show your face? Some rich boy named Wang Chong, son of some deputy minister. And, more importantly, a lapdog of Bai Bufan, who's the grandson of the right prime minister, aka my grandpa's political rival. This clown saw me and thought, oh boy, easy target. Let me kick him while he's down to impress my boss. I cleaned out my ear with my pinky. Took my time. Then yawned. You done? He blinked, confused. Started to say, what? Am I wrong? You useless, slap. I didn't even wind up. Just whipped my hand across his face so fast nobody saw it coming. This man went airborne, flew sideways, crashed through a table, bounced off the floor, and ended up in a heap with half his face swollen like a pumpkin and a tooth rolling across the ground. Dead. Silence. Every jaw in the room hit the floor. This was not the Chu Feng they knew. The old Chu Feng got bullied and ran home crying to Grandpa. This Chu Feng just launched a human being across a room with a casual backhand. Why you? You hit me, Wang Chong shrieked from the floor. I looked at him the way you look at a bug on your shoe. Walked over slowly. Slap. Other cheek. Even harder. His eyes rolled back, and I think he briefly visited another dimension. Yeah, I hit you. What are you going to do about it? I looked down at him, completely calm. Say one more word, and I'll make sure you never speak again. He looked up into my eyes, and whatever he saw there made every threat die in his throat. Because my eyes weren't the eyes of a spoiled brat anymore. They were the eyes of someone who'd stare into hell and ask for seconds. I turned to the madam, who looked like she'd just seen a ghost driving a car. Bring me last night's courtesan, the one at the center of all this. Room number 1. I've got a lot of energy to burn tonight. Her face went white. Young master, that courtesan suddenly fell ill and passed away dead. Of course she is. Someone killed her to cover their tracks. Whoever's behind this doesn't mess around. Fine. Got anyone else? And off I went upstairs with Qing Yao, leaving behind a room full of people who looked like they'd collectively forgotten how to breathe. The second I was gone, the whole place erupted. Chu Feng has lost his mind. Since when can he hit like that? And Wang Chong, looking like a chipmunk storing 2 grapefruits in his cheeks, was already plotting revenge. Just you wait, Chu Feng. I'm going straight to young Master Bai. You're dead. I'll write my name backwards if I don't destroy you today. Sure thing, buddy. Take a number and get in line. You're behind the 3rd prince's assassins, a scheming madam, and a future wife who once deleted a small country. But hey, at least I'm not bored anymore. I made it to the VIP room at the pleasure house. Room number 1, baby. The fanciest suite in the building. Expensive incense, silk, everything, the works. I sat down like I owned the place, which, given my family's power, I basically do. Qing Yao stood behind me like a human statue with murder capabilities. Then Shi walked in. Red dress, fox eyes that could make a monk forget his vows. And, I'm not making this up, she was barefoot, with tiny golden bells on her ankles that jingled with every step. Her name was Hong Ling, and she was weapons-grade gorgeous. This humble servant greets young Master Chu. She purred in a voice that could melt steel. She brought wine. She was flirting. She tried to sit in my lap. Everything about this screamed, trap, but also, wow. She raised the wine cup toward my lips, whispering sweet nothings about the long night ahead, and I was almost impressed by the production quality of this assassination attempt. Master, the wine is poisoned, Linger screamed so loud inside my head I nearly flinched. Thank God for my little tower spirit. Apparently this poison was some top-secret formula that even high-level martial artists can't detect. But Linger caught it instantly. Worth every bit of yin-yang energy I spent unlocking that tower. I didn't panic. Didn't even change my expression. Just reached out and grabbed her wrist, the one holding the cup. Ice cold. No body heat whatsoever. This woman felt like grabbing a corpse. I tilted my head, kept my smile, and said nice and casual. Poisoning the air of the Marquis household? You've got guts, I'll give you that. The color drained from her face so fast it was like watching someone pull a plug on a bathtub. Her brain was short-circuiting, trying to figure out how this supposed idiot detected an undetectable poison. She didn't waste time being confused, though. Professional assassin instincts kicked in. A dagger appeared in her other hand out of nowhere, and she stabbed at my heart with the kind of speed and precision that absolutely does not belong to a courtesan. But Qing Yao was faster. Clang. My bodyguard materialized in front of me like she teleported and caught the poison blade between 2 fingers. 2 fingers. The tip was 3 inches from my chest. She wasn't even breathing hard. Hong Ling's eyes nearly popped out of her skull. Fair reaction, honestly. You're not from this pleasure house, I said, still sitting in my chair, legs crossed, fan in hand, looking bored as hell. Who sent you? Go ask the king of hell when you're dead, she screamed. Attack! And the room exploded with assassins. They came from everywhere. The windows, the ceiling beams, behind the decorative screens. 6 black-clad killers with sharp weapons and serious, we do this for a living, energy. The room went from romantic evening to murder party in about half a second. Did I panic? Reader, I did not. I didn't even stand up. Kill them all, I said, like I was ordering appetizers. Yes, Qing Yao replied, like I'd asked her to pass the salt. What happened next was the most beautiful display of violence I've ever witnessed. Qing Yao pulled out a sword thin as a cicada's wing and turned that room into a blender. She was a blur of green, her blade drawing arcs of silver light through the air, and every arc ended with someone dying. Throat, dead. Heart, dead. Spine, dead. These assassins were good, coordinated, experienced, clearly from some elite organization. Against Qing Yao, they were kindergartners fighting a fighter jet. 10 breaths, 6 bodies, all on the floor in growing pools of red. My dad really outdid himself with this bodyguard selection. Note to self, send him a thank you card. Maybe a fruit basket. Now it was just me, Qing Yao dripping blood from her sword, and Hong Ling looking like she'd just watched her entire career get deleted. So I said, ready to talk now? Never. She bit down on something in her mouth, a suicide tooth. Black blood started leaking from her lips. Oh hell no. You don't get to die before I get my answers. I moved. Fast. Way faster than a useless playboy should be able to. I was in front of her before she could blink, grabbed her jaw, forced her mouth open, and shot a burst of energy at the poisoned tooth, shattering it into dust. The look on her face was priceless. Pure horror. Like she'd just realized the lamb she was sent to slaughter was actually a dragon wearing a lamb costume. Looks like you need some persuasion. I channeled my chaos divine demon art through my palm into her body, and she screamed like I'd plugged her into a wall socket. Every meridian in her body started cracking. Imagine the worst cramp you've ever had, multiply it by 1,000, then set it on fire. That's Tuesday for people who don't answer my questions. I'll talk. We're from the Nether Tower. Someone paid us to kill you. I don't know who hired us. The Nether Tower. Never heard of it. I looked at Qingyao. The Nether Tower is the #1 assassin organization in the entire dynasty, she said, stone-faced. They're ghosts. If the price is right, they'll kill anyone. Nobles, sect leaders, anyone. Well, ain't that fancy, I muttered. I turned back to Hong Ling. Where's your base in the capital? And that's when things got really spicy. A sword beam came screaming through the window from outside. Silent. Invisible until the last millisecond, and 100 times more terrifying than anything those 6 dead assassins could have produced. It was aimed directly between my eyes with the kind of precision that said, this person has killed many important people. Even Qingyao's face changed. She shouted a warning, tried to intercept, but she was too far away. This attack had been calculated perfectly, sealing off every escape route, every dodge angle. It was, by every definition, a guaranteed kill shot. My pupils shrank to pinpoints. Time slowed down. And somewhere deep in my chest, the divine demon supreme body said, nah. Instead of dodging, because dodging wasn't an option, I did something completely, gloriously stupid. I punched it. Get lost, my fist. Lit up with golden light, and I threw it straight at the incoming death beam with everything my brand new cosmic body had to offer. Unleashing a wave of raw, primal, I refused to die twice in 1 week, energy. Fist versus sword beam. New body versus professional killer. Former couch potato versus the dynasty's #1 assassination organization. Let's see who blinks first. Fist versus sword beam. Golden light versus pure death energy. And you know what happened? My fist won. That sword beam, the one that was supposed to pierce through solid metal, hit my golden knuckles and just fell apart. Like wet tissue paper, shattered into sparkly confetti. My new divine demon supreme body said, return to sender, and the sword beam said, understandable, have a nice day. A shocked gasp came from outside, and then this guy in all black with a creepy demon mask swooped through the window like Batman's evil cousin. Long sword, death quiet aura, the whole assassin starter pack. Hong Ling, the poisoner girl on the floor, saw him and practically cried with joy. Lord Mingjian, this, Mingjian, dude ignored her completely and stared at me like I was a math problem that didn't add up. Impressive body. Everyone says the Marquis heir is a worthless drunk. Seems we were all fooled. You talk too much, I said, shaking out my fist. There was barely a scratch on it. Not even broken skin. I punched a sword beam and got a paper cut. So naturally, I charged him. Full speed. Fist cocked back. Zero hesitation. He seemed genuinely surprised that I had the audacity to attack him. He flicked his sword, and I felt a pressure wave hit me that was on a completely different level from anything before. Innate realm power. The stuff that top 10 Qianlong rankings people have. Yeah, I got launched. Flew backwards, flipped in the air, landed on my feet, but skidded back about 8 steps. Looked down at my fist. There was a cut this time. Actual blood. Taking one of my strikes head on with just your body? You should be proud, he said. But this is where it ends. He came at me again, sword blazing, clang. Qingyao appeared out of nowhere between us, her paper-thin sword blocking his killing blow. And then SHE powered up too, and the pressure she released was just as insane as his. What? Mask guy couldn't believe it. You're also innate realm? I was equally shocked. My dad assigned me a bodyguard who's at the same level as a top-tier professional assassin? Dad, I take back at least 40% of the mean things I've thought about you. What followed was the most terrifying tennis match I've ever watched, except instead of tennis balls, it was sword beams, and instead of a court, it was a room that was rapidly being turned into sawdust. Tables? Dust. Screens? Dust. Antique vases? You guessed it, dust. They were moving so fast they were literally just blurs. I could barely track them. This is what innate realm combat looks like, and it is horrifying. After a flurry of clashes, they separated. He had a slash on his chest. She had a scratch on her arm. Dead even. Mask guy assessed the situation, me looking calm, Qingyao looking murderous, and made the smart call. The Nether Tower never fails to kill its target. We will meet again. Then, casually, almost as an afterthought, he flicked his sword sideways. Hong Ling, the poisoner, his own teammate, got a red line across her throat. Her eyes went wide with shock, and she dropped dead. He killed her to make sure she couldn't talk. Cold. Blooded. Then he vanished out the window. Qingyao wanted to chase him, but I stopped her. A desperate innate realm assassin running for his life. Not worth the risk. We got what we needed. I walked out to the hallway where the pleasure house staff were huddled together, looking like they'd just witnessed the apocalypse. I told them to bring me whoever's in charge. Madame Feng wobbled over on legs made of jelly, took one look at the room full of dead bodies and destroyed furniture, and nearly fainted. What happened? I sat in the only chair still intact, casually wiped my hands with a silk cloth, and said without looking up, "Your courtesan was an assassin. Did you know?" I had no idea. I swear. Interesting. Because I almost died on your property. How are we settling this bill? She offered money. I laughed. Can your money buy back my life? Then I kicked the chair over and dropped the hammer. This pleasure house is done. Shut it down. Today. And no, she screamed like I'd stabbed her. You can't. Do you know who's behind this establishment? It's the fifth prince. Oh. So a prince owns this place. That's actually very useful information. Filing that away for later. But before I could process that juicy detail, a commotion erupted downstairs. Where's that waste Chu Feng? Bring him out. I raised an eyebrow and strolled to the railing. Down in the main hall, Pigface Wang Chong was back, and he'd brought back up. Standing next to him was a tall, arrogant-looking pretty boy in fancy clothes, radiating, "My family is rich and powerful," energy. By Buffon, grandson of the right prime minister. My grandpa's rival's grandson. The guy Wang Chong ran, crying to after I rearranged his face. I picked my ear with my pinky and called down. Whose dog is barking down there? It's late. Some people are trying to enjoy their evening. The entire hall went dead quiet. Did he just call the right prime minister's grandson a dog owner? Wang Chong pointed at me, trembling with rage. That's him. That's the one who hit me. Bai Buffon looked up at me with cold eyes and sneered. Chu Feng, you hit my man. Don't you think you owe me an explanation? After all, when you hit the dog, you should at least respect the owner. Hit the dog, respect the owner, I repeated. I smiled. Then I jumped off the second-floor balcony. Just casually hopped over the railing and floated down like gravity was a suggestion, landing right in front of Bai Buffon's face. Before his brain could process what was happening, slap. The loudest, crispest, most devastating slap of the entire night. And tonight has had a lot of slaps. Connected with Bai Buffon's face so hard it echoed off every wall in the building. The grandson of the right prime minister. Slapped. In public. In front of everyone. I looked at him and said, then today, I'm hitting the owner too. What are you going to do about it? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make enemies with literally everyone important in the capital in a single evening. My grandpa would be so proud. Slap heard, round the dynasty, just happened. I smacked the right prime minister's grandson across the face in front of a packed house, and the silence that followed was so thick you could spread it on toast. Everyone's brain collectively blue-screened. This was like slapping the queen's nephew at a royal ball. You just don't. Except I just did. Bai Buffon stood there holding his cheek, processing the fact that a guy he considered beneath his shoe just publicly rearranged his face. Then the rage hit. Kill him. Chop him into pieces. His personal bodyguard, some scary middle-aged dude with half-step innate realm power, shot forward like a missile, his claw hand going straight for my throat. He never made it. Qingyao moved so fast I barely saw it. Just a flash of blue light, and, thwip, the man had a tiny hole in the center of his forehead. He stood there for exactly 1 second looking confused about being dead, then collapsed like a sack of potatoes. One. Hit. Kill. Bai Buffon's screaming stopped mid-syllable. Pretty sure something came out the other end instead. But then, because this night apparently has more plot twists than a soap opera, slow clapping echoed from the entrance. My, what excitement. Quite the temper tonight, young Master Chu. In walks a guy wearing a python robe, which is basically one step below dragon robes, which means royalty, surrounded by guards and eunuchs. Smiling like he's at a garden party and not a crime scene. The fifth prince, Zhao Qian. The guy who OWNS this pleasure house. Everyone hit the floor bowing. Knees, foreheads, the full package. Everyone except me. I just stood there with my hands behind my back like I was waiting for a bus. His old eunuch got all squeaky. Insolent. Why aren't you kneeling before the fifth prince? I didn't even look at him. Why should I? The prince waved it off with his politician smile and got to the point. I hear you were attacked in MY establishment. Yep. Nearly died on your property. So what are you going to do about it? He offered compensation. I held up one finger. 10 million silver taels. That should cover it. The air in the room froze. 10 million taels is like. Imagine someone rear-ends your Honda Civic and you hand them a bill for a private island. It's not a negotiation, it's robbery. By Buffon lost it. You're insane. The prince's smile finally cracked. Are you joking? I looked him dead in the eyes. Do you think the life of the Marquis heir isn't worth a measly 10 million? Or should I have my grandpa come down here and negotiate the price personally? The magic words. Grandpa. The nuclear option. I watched the prince's brain run the math in real time. 10 million silver. Versus having that unhinged old lunatic show up and demolish this entire building with everyone inside it, including a prince. His face twitched. His eye twitched. His whole soul twitched. Then he smiled again. Of course, of course. The young master's life is priceless. Consider the 10 million a small token of my concern. He ordered his eunuch to bring the bank notes, and minutes later I had a fat stack of cash in my hands. 10 million taels. I just shook down a prince using my grandpa's reputation as a weapon of mass destruction. Thanks a bunch, Your Highness. Pleasure doing business. I strolled out with Qingniao like I owned the city. Behind me, the prince's smile evaporated into pure ice. Chu Feng. I will make you pay back 100 times over. Yeah. Take a number, pal. You're like the fourth person tonight who's sworn revenge on me. I should start a loyalty card program. Swear to destroy Chu Feng 10 times. Get the 11th free. I'd barely walked a block when I ran into another person who wanted to yell at me. See Chu Feng. Oh look, it's Yihao. My future brother-in-law. The kid whose fight with me started this whole mess. He came charging at me, finger pointing, veins popping. I haven't settled the score from our fight, and now you want to marry my sister? You don't deserve her. Not in a million. Slap. I'm really getting my money's worth out of this hand tonight. Kid spun around and hit the ground. I crouched down next to him and got real serious. Listen here, genius. Last night, you and I were played. Someone set us up to fight. I almost died. And if I had, your grandpa's crazy counterpart, my grandpa, would have erased your entire family from existence. You were somebody's puppet and you didn't even notice. His face went from red angry to white terrified in about 2 seconds as the implications hit him. And you're lucky your sister is about to become my wife, or I'd break both your legs right now. I stood up and dusted off my robes. Oh, and one more thing. Next time you see me, call me brother-in-law. Left him sitting on the ground looking like his entire worldview just got factory reset. I walked down the glittering streets of the capital, 10 million taels in my pocket, feeling like an absolute king. Best night ever. Slapped 3 people, survived 2 assassination attempts, shook down a prince, and terrified my future-in-law. Productive evening. Then something caught my eye. A massive 9-story building made entirely of golden silk wood, lit up like a Christmas tree, looking like someone built a palace and then said, make it fancier. This thing was gorgeous. What's that place? I asked Qingniao. The Misty Rain Pavilion. She explained. It's basically the Amazon.com of this dynasty. You can buy anything there. Martial arts techniques, legendary weapons, beautiful women, exotic beasts, intelligence reports, you name it. If it exists and you have enough money, they've got it. The place has been around for 100 years and is so powerful that even royalty doesn't dare start trouble inside. And they hold regular auctions for rare treasures. I looked at the building. I looked at my pocket full of cash. I looked back at the building. Let's go shopping. Inside, a gorgeous hostess in a form-fitting dress greeted me and mentioned they were opening a brand new beast fighting arena tonight. First show ever. A beast fighting arena. Like underground MMA, but with monsters. Lead the way, I grinned. Because apparently, nearly dying twice, assaulting 3 nobles, and extorting a prince wasn't enough excitement for one evening. The night is young, people. So Qingniao and I followed the hostess through this long corridor, and when we came out the other end, my jaw practically unhinged. It was an underground coliseum, like full-on ancient Rome vibes. A massive stone arena in the center, surrounded by stadium seating packed to the rafters, with screaming spectators losing their absolute minds. Kill him. RIP his head off. Down in the pit, 2 shirtless dudes built like refrigerators were beating the living daylight out of each other. Both energy-gathering realm fighters, going at it raw. No weapons, no techniques, just fists and fury and a lot of blood. Crunch. One of them caught the other in the temple. Lights out. Permanently. The winner raised his fist, covered in blood and other stuff I won't describe, and roared at the crowd like a gorilla who just won the Super Bowl. I turned to the hostess. I thought this was a beast fighting arena. Those are clearly humans. She smiled sweetly and said, with zero emotion, "Oh, those are slaves we raise here. They're basically the same as beasts. Yikes. This world has some issues we're going to need to unpack later. But not tonight." Then the announcer strutted onto the stage for the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, for our grand opening, we present the ultimate challenge. The Iron Gate opened, and out walked the biggest human being I have ever seen. This dude was maybe 21, 22 years old, with a face like a friendly farm boy, but a body that looked like someone sculpted it from boulders. Every muscle was a mountain. He just stood there and radiated, "I could bench press your house," energy. Meridian opening realm, level 3, someone in the crowd yelled. The announcer grinned. "This is our champion fighter, Dolly. Any warrior under 30 at the Meridian opening realm who can defeat him wins 3 breakthrough sky pills on the spot." The crowd went ballistic. 3 breakthrough sky pills? Each one increases your chances of reaching innate realm by 50%. 1 pill is worth a fortune. They're giving away 3. People were practically foaming at the mouth. And brave idiots started lining up. First challenger, Meridian opening level 3. Looked confident. Started to introduce himself. "I am from the..." Dolly punched him before he finished his sentence. Crack. Both arms shattered. Guy flew off the stage like a baseball. 1 punch. Then more challengers came. Level 4. Level 5. All the same result. 1 punch. Good night. Don't let the arena floor hit you on the way down. The strongest one, a level 7 guy, lasted a whole 2 extra moves before getting his ribcage redesigned. The crowd went quiet. Nobody wanted to go up there anymore. This farm boy was a 1-punch deletion machine. But me? I was staring at this guy like he was a Christmas present with my name on it. What insane strength. His body is almost as strong as my new divine demon supreme body. And then Linger chimed in, practically bouncing with excitement. "Master, he's not just strong. He has the innate divine strength constitution. It's a 1 in 10,000 body type, born with monstrous power. And he hasn't even awakened his bloodline yet. When he does, his strength will multiply by 10. At that point, even innate realm masters might not survive a single punch from him." My heart started pounding. "Master, if you can recruit him, he'll be an incredible asset." I didn't need to be told twice. I turned to Qingyao. "Get me a mask." A minute later, I stepped onto the arena wearing a bronze mask, looking mysterious as hell. Couldn't let people know the useless playboy is actually out here throwing hands with arena champions. Gotta keep the element of surprise. The crowd's reaction was not encouraging. "Another idiot wants to die? Look at his build. He's gonna get turned into paste." Wait, is that Meridian opening level 1? Ha ha ha. Yeah, the whole stadium erupted in laughter. Thousands of people pointing and cackling at the skinny masked weirdo who apparently had a death wish. Real confidence booster, folks. Thanks. Even Dolly looked at me with genuine concern and said in his deep, rumbling voice, "You're not my match. Please leave. I don't want to hurt you." Honestly, kinda sweet of him. I already liked this guy. But instead of leaving, I turned to the announcer and said something that shut everyone up real fast. "If I win, I don't want the pills." The announcer blinked. "Then, what do you want?" I pointed straight at Dolly. "I want him dead." Silence. Then chaos. Everyone was screaming, not battle cries this time, but pure confusion. He doesn't want pills worth a fortune and wants a slave instead? Is this guy brain damaged? Even Dolly was staring at me like I'd spoken in tongues. The announcer stammered about how Dolly was company property, not for sale, and I cut him off. "Go ask your boss. Tell them. 1 person, in exchange for the Misty Rain Pavilion's future peace." "That's a good deal." I said it quietly, but something in my voice made the announcer's spine tingle. He nodded like he was hypnotized and scurried off. He came back looking like he'd just had a very confusing conversation with upper management. "Our pavilion master." "Agreed. If you win, he's yours." Up in the VIP box on the top floor, a drop-dead gorgeous woman in palace robes was lounging on a couch, watching me with the look of a cat who just found a new toy. Interesting. Find out who's behind that mask. Back on the stage, Dolly's eyes changed. No more concern. No more. Please leave. Just pure warrior intent. Grah! He stomped the ground so hard the stone cracked beneath his feet, then launched himself at me like a charging rhino, his fist aimed at my face with enough force to probably punch through a city wall. The air literally screamed from the pressure of his incoming fist. Every person in that arena was thinking the same thing. This masked idiot is about to become a stain on the floor. But here's the thing they didn't know. I've got a body forged by a cosmic golden god. I've got a cultivation technique from the dawn of creation. And I really want this big, friendly punching machine on my team. So come on, big guy. Show me what you've got. So picture this. A giant human wrecking ball is flying at my face with a fist the size of a Thanksgiving turkey, and every single person in the arena is already mentally writing my obituary. He's dead. His head's gonna pop like a grape. And what do? I punch back. Just raise my normal-sized fist and meet his monster fist head-on. Like David versus Goliath. Except David is an idiot. Or he. Boom. Our fists collided and a shockwave blasted across the entire arena like someone set off a bomb. People's hair blew back. Drinks spilled. Jaws dropped. And I was standing there, completely still. Didn't move an inch. The crowd went so quiet you could hear a pin drop in the next city. Every single person who laughed at me 5 seconds ago was now swallowing their tongue. A level 1 guy just tanked the full power punch of the man who was one-shotting level 7 fighters? What? Dolly looked at me like I'd just violated the laws of physics. Which, to be fair, I kind of did. But he's a fighter at heart. Shock lasted about half a second before his eyes lit up with excitement, and he came at me again. And we went at it. Bang, bang, bang. Pure fists. No energy techniques. No fancy moves. Just 2 guys with ridiculous bodies trying to out-punch each other like cavemen. Every collision made the spectators flinch like they were the ones getting hit. Dolly was getting more and more confused. He was throwing everything he had, and it was like punching a wall made of diamond. His own fists were going numb while I wasn't even breathing hard. Me? I was having the time of my life. My new divine demon body needed a test drive, and this was the perfect crash test. Every hit told me more about what this body could do, and the answer was, a lot. This is great. I actually laughed out loud. Then I decided it was time to wrap it up. Your strength is impressive, but compared to mine, not quite there. I powered up to just 30% of my divine demon supreme body. Just 30. And I threw one punch. It looked simple, nothing flashy. But this punch carried the kind of pressure that makes the air itself want to run away. Dolly's instincts screamed danger. He crossed both arms in front of his body in a desperate block. Boom. His arms made a sound like snapping tree branches. His massive body, this human tank that had been swatting people like flies all night, launched off the stage like a cannonball, cratered the stone floor below, and went completely unconscious. One punch. At 30% power. The silence that followed was the kind of silence that has weight. Like everyone collectively forgot how lungs work. I walked to the edge of the stage, looked down at the unconscious mountain of muscle, and said, "You're mine now." The announcer needed a solid minute to reboot his brain before stammering out, "CC, congratulations. The fighter Dolly now belongs to you." And that's when someone decided to ruin the moment. Hold on. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, and through the gap strolled some rich boy in designer robes with an entourage of bodyguards and the smuggest face I've seen since. Well, since all the other smug faces tonight. Behind him shuffled a hunched-over old man who looked like he could fall asleep standing up. But my danger senses were screaming. This geezer felt more dangerous than Qing Yao. More dangerous than that masked assassin. This old man was a problem. Rich boy didn't even look at me, just stared at Dolly like he was shopping for furniture, nodded approvingly, then glanced at me like I was the store clerk. "That slave. I want him. Name your price." I picked my ear. "Sorry, not for sale. I'm not short on cash." His eyebrow twitched. Clearly not used to hearing the word. "No. Do you know who I am?" "Nope. Don't care either." Insolent. One of his guards barked. "This is young Master Yang Tianqi of the Yang family." The Yang family. One of the 5 great ancient houses of the dynasty. Families whose ancestors helped build this empire. Families so powerful that even royalty thinks twice before messing with them. And apparently Yang family's eldest son is an innate realm genius who's a top contender for the Qianlong rankings top 10. The crowd was buzzing with fear and awe. Yang Tianqi soaked it in, his arrogance dialing up to 11. Now that you know who I am, leave the slave, and I'll generously offer you the chance to befriend the Yang family. This opportunity is priceless. I looked at him. I considered his offer. Then, slowly and deliberately, I raised my middle finger. I don't care if you're the Yang family, the lamb family, or the dog family. Take your people and get out of my sight. Scram. That last word echoed through the arena like a thunderclap. You could have heard a molecule move in that silence. This masked maniac just told the Yang family heir to scram. With a middle finger. In public, Yang Tianqi's face turned the color of a tomato having a bad day. He'd never been disrespected like this in his life. Fine. Wonderful. He was shaking with rage, pointing at me, practically foaming. You asked for this. Break his limbs. Cut out his tongue and feed it to the dogs. Sleepy Grandpa finally opened his eyes. Oh no. A tidal wave of pressure crashed over the entire arena, so heavy that people in the stands could barely breathe. This was innate realm power, and it was stronger than anything I'd felt before. Stronger than the masked assassin. Stronger than Qingyao. This wrinkly prune was the real deal. He vanished from where he stood, leaving an afterimage, and his withered claw hand shot toward the top of my skull like a guided missile. If that thing connected, my head was going to become modern art. Qingyao's eyes flashed, and she reached for her sword. But I was already moving. Run? Dodge? Hide? Absolutely not. Something inside me roared. The divine demon supreme body activated at full power. Golden light erupted from every pore of my body like I'd swallowed a sun. I looked up at that incoming death claw and grinned. Perfect timing. I threw my fist straight up to meet his attack, golden energy blazing, every fiber of my being screaming with power. Today, I'm using your old bones to test just how hard my fists really are. Fist versus claw. Brand new cosmic body versus ancient master. A guy who was a bedridden loser 48 hours ago, challenging an innate realm expert head-on. If this works, legendary. If it doesn't, well, at least I went out swinging. Let's find out. Boom. My golden fist met that old geezer's ghost claw, and the entire arena shook. The ground cracked. The air exploded. People's drinks went flying. I got pushed back like 15 steps, each foot punching a hole in solid stone. My arm felt like I'd stuck it in a blender full of ice. His creepy energy was drilling into my body, trying to wreck things from the inside. But you know what? I shook it off, grinned, and cracked my neck. Not bad, old man. Meanwhile, he only stepped back 3 times, but his face? His face looked like he'd just watched his dog do algebra. This guy was innate realm level 5. His attack should have turned me into powder. And here I am, a meridian opening level 1 nobody, standing there smiling at him with all my teeth intact. Qingyao drew her sword, ready to jump in. Stand down, I said without turning around. He's mine. She hesitated, looked at my back, which I'd like to think looked pretty heroic right then, and backed off. The old man was livid. Arrogant brat. I'll grind your bones to dust. He went full power. No holding back. His body became a blur, and his hands turned into a storm of claw strikes coming from every possible angle, sealing off every escape route. Perfect. Because I wasn't planning to escape. Come on. I cranked the divine demon supreme body to maximum, and golden light exploded off me like a human supernova. The whole arena lit up like daytime. I abandoned all defense. Who needs defense when you're basically made of divine metal? And just started throwing hands. Bang, bang, bang. The arena became a war zone. 2 monsters going at it with everything they had. Every collision sent shockwaves ripping through the stone floor. The spectator seats were getting carved up by stray energy. People were scrambling over each other to get away. Retreat. That even human. Some invisible force field dropped from the ceiling to protect the crowd. Up in the fancy VIP box, that gorgeous pavilion owner lady sat up from her couch, watching me with sparkly eyes. This little guy is interesting. I wonder which faction raised him. She licked her lips. Big sister is getting curious about you. Ma'am, I am busy right now. Flirting later. Fighting now. The old man was losing his mind. His innate realm energy, the stuff that's supposed to be unstoppable, was hitting my body and doing nothing. Like throwing rocks at a tank. Any scratches he managed to land healed almost instantly because my divine demon body's regeneration is absolutely busted. He wasn't fighting a person anymore. He was fighting a prehistoric monster wearing a mask and having the time of its life. Then he got desperate. He spotted an opening, screamed, "Die," and threw everything he had into one final attack. All his life's cultivation concentrated into a single claw strike aimed straight at my chest, trading injury for a kill shot. All or nothing. I saw it coming, and I smiled. I didn't dodge, didn't block, just stood there and let him hit me. His claw landed square on my chest. My shirt shredded. Golden light exploded everywhere. And when the dust cleared, 5 shallow white marks on my skin. Didn't even break through. It was like he'd tried to scratch a diamond with a wet noodle. The look on his face? Priceless. His entire understanding of reality crumbled in real time. You could practically hear his brain going, for error, world not found. I leaned in close and whispered, "Your power is too weak." Then I punched him in the chest. I won't sugarcoat this part. My fist went in. Golden energy, divine demon power, everything I had left, concentrated into one hit. His chest caved. His back exploded. A hole the size of a bowl. Internal organs. Blood. Everywhere. He looked down at the hole where his chest used to be. Looked up at me, covered in his blood, grinning like a demon. Made a gurgling sound. Then fell over like a tree. Dead. An innate realm level 5 master. Killed by a guy who couldn't do a push-up 3 days ago. I dropped to one knee immediately after. Not gonna lie, that took everything out of me. I was gasping, pale, shaking. Qingyao rushed over to hold me up. I'd basically emptied my entire tank for that last punch. But the look on everyone's faces made it all worth it. Thousands of people. Silent. Brain dead. Mouths open. Not a single functioning thought among them. Yang Tianqi, rich boy who told me to hand over Dolly, looked like his soul had left his body, gone on vacation, and wasn't planning to come back. His unbeatable bodyguard, his family's trump card, the guy who was supposed to make problems go away, was a corpse with a ventilation hole in his torso. I leaned on Qingyao and started walking toward him. Slowly, one step at a time. Every step I took forward, he stumbled one step back. Stop him. Someone stop him, he screamed at his guards. Not one person moved. These guards had just watched me punch through a man's entire body. Their knives were shaking so hard they sounded like wind chimes. They couldn't even stand straight, let alone fight. I stopped right in front of Yang Tianqi. He collapsed on his butt, babbling. "Why you can't touch me? I'm from the Yang family. If you hurt me, my family will." I lifted my foot, and I stepped on his face. Just pressed his arrogant little head into the stone floor with my boot, right in front of thousands of witnesses. I told you, I don't care if you're the Yang family, the Lamb family, or the dog family. I looked down at him like he was gum on my shoe. Don't flex on me. I removed my foot, turned around, and said to Qingyao, "Grab Dolly. We're leaving." As we headed for the exit, the hostess from earlier rushed over and bowed deeply, her voice now trembling with respect instead of professional sweetness. "Sir, our pavilion master would like to meet you. Not interested." She didn't push it. Smart girl. Instead, she handed me a purple gold invitation. "There's a grand auction in 3 days. Rare treasures beyond imagination. The pavilion master hopes you'll attend." I took the invite, pocketed it, and walked out without looking back. Covered in blood, exhausted, barely standing, carrying an unconscious giant man, escorted by a stone-cold bodyguard. Absolutely legendary exit. So let's recap tonight's scorecard. Slapped. 3 rich boys, and counting. Assassins survived. 1 squad, 1 boss-level prince extorted. 1, for 10 million taels, future brother-in-law traumatized. 1 innate realm masters killed. 1 arena champions recruited. 1 mysterious, beautiful pavilion owners intrigued. 1 tables destroyed by angry old men. Still at 2 from earlier, not bad for a guy who was literally dead 48 hours ago. Now if you'll excuse me, I need a NAP. I stumbled back to the mansion looking like a horror movie extra. Blood everywhere. Half-dead giant slung over Qingyao's shoulder, and me radiating the kind of energy that makes servants suddenly remember they have somewhere else to be. Nobody asked questions. Smart. Put him in the side courtyard, get a doctor, I told Qingyao. He's mine now. Then I mentally dialed up Langer. "Yo, How do I unlock this big guy's full power? Easy peasy. I've got an ancient recipe for a divine strength awakening bath. Get the ingredients, soak him for 7 days, and his bloodline will start waking up. His strength will multiply by 100 times. 100 times? This man was already one-punching everyone in sight. 100 times stronger, and he could probably punch the moon out of orbit. I scribbled down the recipe, all crazy rare stuff like dragon tendon grass and tiger bone flowers, the kind of ingredients normal people would sell a kidney for, and handed it to Qingyao. Raid the family vault. Buy whatever's missing. Money is no object. Being rich is great. That's when Dad showed up. His eyes locked onto the gnarly claw wounds on my chest, and the temperature dropped about 30 degrees. Murder mode. Activated. Qingyao. Explain. Qingyao dropped to one knee. I failed in my duty. Please punish me. Relax. It wasn't her fault. I waved it off. Got in a fight. Small scratch. I'm fine. Who did this? Some innate realm geezer from the Yang family. Don't worry about him, though. He's dead. I killed him. Silence. My dad's face went through more expressions in 5 seconds than I'd seen from him in my entire borrowed memory bank. Cold, confused, shocked, what brain.exe has stopped working. You? What? You killed an innate realm master. He grabbed my wrist and sent his energy into my body to check. And I watched his eyes go from suspicious to Windows blue screen of death in real time. Meridian opening realm. Level 1. In a body that was literally civilian grade yesterday when the doctors checked. One day, from 0 to meridian opening. Plus a confirmed kill on an established innate realm expert who was 5 levels into that realm. Dad backed up 2 steps and stared at me like I was an alien wearing his son's skin. Then, very slowly, through gritted teeth, "Are you actually my son?" Oh, crap. I overdid it. Showed off too much. He's getting suspicious. But I kept my cool, rolled my eyes, and said with a straight face, "Of course I am. 100% authentic. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back." He stared at me for a long time. Then, "Good. Very good." Deep breath. "I still doing that. I don't understand anything anymore. Thing. 1 month. The Qianlong rankings. I'll be watching." Then he walked away. But his back looked different somehow. Like a dad who just realized his son might not be a complete waste of oxygen after all. Baby steps, pops. Baby steps. I yawned and went to bed. Next morning, the entire capital city exploded. News about last night's fight spread like wildfire on steroids. Mysterious masked man at Meridian opening realm kills innate realm master from the Yang family in public combat. The whole city went insane. Impossible. Meridian opening beating innate? Against a Yang family expert? No way. It's real. Thousands of people saw it. He punched through the old man's chest. 1 hit. Who is this monster? Where did he come from? Every faction in the dynasty, princes, nobles, ancient families, was scrambling to figure out who the masked man was. Scouts, spies, investigators, everyone deployed. The mystery face puncher was the hottest topic in the nation. Over at the Yi estate, my future wifey heard the news. And for the first time, the Ice Queen showed actual emotion. Meridian opening. Killing innate. Yi Hongwan stood by her window, and those frozen eyes of hers actually widened. She, the greatest young genius in the dynasty, admitted to herself that even SHE couldn't have pulled that off at the same level. "Who is this person?" she murmured. "Huh. If only you knew, wifey. If only you knew." Then her grandpa walked in with news from our side. The Chu family says Chu Feng is entering the Qianlong rankings. And he's aiming for the top 10. Her brief moment of curiosity vanished, replaced by her signature ice-cold smirk. Him? That waste? Impossible. Grandfather, you underestimate the rankings. Every person in the top 10 is a monster among monsters. Chu Feng could never. Oh, honey. Keep that energy. I love a good, I told you so moment. Meanwhile, back at home, I spent the night doing some very productive dual cultivation with Schwanger. Her profound body is the gift that keeps on giving. My cultivation jumped forward again. I looked at her sleeping in my arms, happy little smile on her face, and thought, this isn't a maid. This is a portable premium power bank with unlimited data. I was just about to start my morning exercise routine, you know, for cultivation purposes, strictly cultivation, when, bang, the door got kicked in. Again. What is it with this family indoors? A flash of fiery red stormed into my bedroom, and a woman's voice rang out, sharp, urgent, and loud. Little Feng, I nearly had a heart attack. Certain things that were ready for morning practice became very not ready. What the who? It's dawn. Do people not knock in this dynasty? I sat up, ready to unleash verbal hell on whoever just cock-blocked my cultivation session, looked at the door, and froze. Who is that? And that, my friends, is where we stop. Because apparently in this family, doors are just decorative suggestions. Privacy doesn't exist, and every morning starts with a cardiac event. I need a lock. A really good lock. I'm lying in bed, about to start my morning cultivation session with Schwanger, when the door gets yeeted off its hinges for the second time in 2 days. This family needs to invest in reinforced doors. Or maybe just the concept of knocking. A red blur rocketed across the room and materialized next to my bed, and I finally got a look at who just violated my privacy at the speed of sound. My brain short-circuited. This woman was. Okay, imagine if a forest fire became a person and then decided to be gorgeous about it. Early 20s, wearing a skin-tight red combat outfit that was doing things that should be illegal, legs that went on for approximately 6 business days, and a face so fierce and beautiful it could start wars and end them. As second sister, my memory banks coughed up a name, Chu Feng, the second daughter of the Marquis household. Nickname, Little She-Devil of the capital, known for violence, protecting her family, more violence, and absolutely zero respect for things like rules or other people's bones. Whenever the old me got bullied, she'd hunt down the bully and break their legs. Every single time. You little brat. Her worry evaporated the second she saw I was alive. She grabbed my ear like I was 5 years old. I rushed back thousands of miles because I heard you almost died, and I find you in bed with a girl? You just came back from death's door, and you're already at it again? Your body's gonna be empty before you hit 25. OWOWOW. Sister, please, the ear. But honestly, my heart was warm. This woman dropped everything and crossed the country just because she heard her little brother got hurt. That's love, people. Then Linger's voice exploded in my head at maximum volume. Master, your sister, her body constitution. It's the Southern Bright Departure Fire body. Top-tier fire attribute constitution. If you could obtain her, the benefits would be astronomical. I mentally facepalmed. Linger, that's my sister. I already scanned her. You two have 0 blood relation. What? No blood relation? She's not my biological sister? I looked at Chu Feng again. The red outfit. The killer legs. The wild, fierce energy. If she's not actually my sister, then she's just an incredibly hot, powerful woman who lives in my house and cares about me deeply, and my eyes went weird. I could feel them going weird. I couldn't stop them from going weird. What's that look on your face? You're thinking something perverted, aren't you? She twisted my ear harder. Nothing. I was just thinking about how much I appreciate you, second sister, full acting mode. Oscar-worthy performance. Puppy eyes deployed. Yeah, right. She let go and plopped down on a chair. Get up and get dressed. I need to talk to you. Could you step outside while I change? She crossed her arms and raised an eyebrow. Why? I used to wipe your butt when you were a baby. There isn't a single inch of you I haven't seen. And now you're acting shy? Sister, that was then. Things have grown since then. What could possibly be so different? She yanked off the blanket. Kaya! Schwanger screamed and covered herself. I stood there wanting the earth to swallow me whole. Second sister got one good look and her entire face, this fearless, dragon-slaying warrior woman, went red. From her cheeks all the way down to her collarbone. She spun around and fled through the door like the room was on fire. Ahem. Yes, things have indeed grown. Get dressed. I'll be in the hall. I watched the most dangerous woman I'd met so far run away blushing and scratch my nose. This sister of mine is something else. 5 minutes later, dressed and presentable, I joined her in the hall. She was drinking tea and pretending the blanket incident never happened. She got straight to business. You're really marrying Yihongwan? That killing machine, Grandpa's idea. That woman is a stone-cold murderer. Her top 10 condition is a public humiliation designed to make you give up. You can't handle her. I sipped my tea and smiled. Can't know till I try? You don't think I can make top 10? It's not what I think. It's what the entire dynasty thinks. Then her eyes narrowed. She vanished from her chair, literally disappeared, and reappeared with her palm on my shoulder, checking my cultivation. Meridian opening realm, she shrieked. What did you eat? Yesterday you were practically a corpse. Oh, you know, late bloomer and all that. Had a growth spurt. I grinned my most punchable grin. Her shock melted into pure joy, and she slammed my shoulder so hard I almost crumpled. That's my brother. If you've got the guts to try, then if Yi Hongwan dares back out of the deal, I'll personally kidnap her and stuff her into your wedding chamber. Sis, she's the female god of slaughter. Can you even take her? She tossed her red hair, which I swear literally flickered like flames, and smirked with the confidence of a woman who has never lost a fight in her life. Her? Please. There aren't many people in this entire dynasty who scare me. Curious, I asked Linger. So what level is my sister? Your sister is at the void-piercing realm. I spit tea everywhere. All over myself. All over the nice table. Void-piercing realm. Let me put that in perspective. Most warriors in this world never reach innate realm. That's already elite. Above that is golden core, then primordial spirit, and then void-piercing. That's the realm where you can literally fly. Walk on clouds. Cross kingdoms in minutes. And she's in her 20s. I just killed an innate realm level 5 guy and thought I was hot stuff. My sister could sneeze on that old man and he'd evaporate. I felt personally attacked by how talented my non-biological sister is. Like, the universe saw me struggling to reach meridian opening and said, here's a girl your age who's basically a demigod. For comparison, what's wrong? She asked, seeing my face. Nothing. Totally fine. Not having an existential crisis at all. Then she heard about the assassination attempt. The nether tower. The stone floor under her feet shattered. The temperature in the room dropped to Arctic levels. A killing intent so powerful it could freeze fire erupted from her body. The nether tower dared to touch my brother. She grabbed my collar and started dragging me toward the door like a mother cat carrying a kitten. Come on. We're going right now to destroy their base. Then we'll find their headquarters. Then I'll chop their leader into dog food. You know where their base is? The nether tower thinks they're sneaky, but against the Chu family intelligence network? They're just prairie dogs who think they're invisible. And just like that, my void-piercing realm, non-blood related, fire-bodied, impossibly hot older sister was dragging me across the mansion to go commit war crimes against the nation's #1 assassination organization. Before breakfast, on an empty stomach. This family is absolutely unhinged and I love every single one of them. Second sister dragged me across the city like a ragdoll on a mission, and we ended up outside a fancy restaurant. This place was packed. Rich people everywhere, eating expensive food, having a great time. Busy as a Starbucks on Monday morning. I looked at it. Looked at her. This is the secret assassin headquarters? You wouldn't get it. It's called hiding in plain sight. Genius. She rolled her eyes and walked straight in. Inside, people were enjoying their meals, clinking glasses, living their best lives. Second sister walked to the dead center of the dining hall, took a deep breath, and screamed. Everyone who doesn't want to die, get the hell out. Now, her voice hit like a sonic boom. Every single bowl, cup, and plate in the building shattered simultaneously. Chopsticks exploded. Tea vaporized. One dude's soup just ceased to exist. Customers scrambled for the exits so fast they left their wallets, their dignity, and in one case, their shoes. But then, some rich pretty boy stumbled out of a VIP room upstairs, drunk off his face, took one look at my sister, and his brain went straight to stupid mode. Oh my, what a beauty, hey gorgeous, wanna hang out with me, and slap. He flew through 3 solid wooden tables and ended up in a pile of splinters with a face like a basketball and teeth scattered across the floor like dropped tic-tacs. Scram, second sister said, without even glancing at him. His bodyguard reached for his sword. How dare you? Do you know who? An older, smarter guy in their group grabbed the bodyguard's arm, took one look at my sister's aura, and physically dragged everyone out of the building at maximum speed. Smart man. That man will live a long life. The restaurant owner came shuffling out, sweating bullets. Please, we're just a humble establishment. Humble, second sister stomped her foot lightly, and an invisible shockwave rippled through the entire building. The nether tower accepted a contract to kill my little brother. You should have prepared for your entire organization to be buried, and right on cue, A familiar voice echoed from the shadows of the second floor. The Chu family really does have long arms, finding us here. Ming Jian. Mr. Demon masked himself. The guy Qing Yao fought to a draw last night. Standing there with his creepy sword, looking at us like we'd made a terrible mistake. Just the two of you came to our base? You're underestimating the Nether Tower. My sister didn't even blink. For garbage like you, I'm more than enough alone. Then a worse guy appeared. Pale face, dead eyes, and every step he took left frost on the floor. Like a human refrigerator powered by evil. Ming Jian immediately bowed to him. Sir, this walking corpse, codename Shadow Serpent, the Nether Tower's head honcho in the capital, looked at my sister like she was a piece of meat in a butcher shop. What an exquisite specimen. I bet she'd be delightful too. Break in. He licked his lips. He actually licked his lips at my sister, the woman who could literally fly. Capture her alive. I want her intact. Oh, buddy. Oh, you sweet, stupid, dead man walking. My sister laughed. Not a happy laugh. The kind of laugh that would make a volcano nervous. Break me? You? A sewer snake who's spent too long in the gutter. Heh. Let's see if you're this feisty when you're begging in my bed. On cue, the building erupted with assassins. They came from everywhere, at least a dozen, all meridian opening or above, with multiple innate realm killers in the mix. They formed a perfect circle around us. Professional, coordinated, lethal. Ming Jian was among them, sword glowing blue, staring at me specifically. Young master, you got lucky last night. Today? No such luck. I stood behind my sister, completely relaxed. These people had no idea what they'd just trapped themselves in with. It wasn't a cage for us. It was a cage for them. Hey sis, I called dibs on Sword Boy. You handle the rest? She raised an eyebrow. You sure? He's innate realm. A man can never say he can't perform. Huh. Fine. Make it quick. The instant she finished talking, I moved. I exploded off the ground so hard the stone floor detonated under my feet. No fancy techniques. No warm-up. Just me, my divine demon body, and a burning desire to finish what Qing Miao started last night. Seeking death, Ming Jian's eyes blazed with killing intent. His sword shot forward like a striking cobra, blue energy, innate realm power, aimed straight at my throat. The same move that nearly killed me yesterday. I didn't dodge. I didn't even blink. I just punched. His sword hit my throat first. Clang. Sparks flew everywhere. His blade bent like it had hit a diamond wall. My throat didn't have a scratch. His innate realm sword technique, the move that made him famous, the strike he'd used to kill countless targets, bounced off my neck like a toy sword hitting a tank. The look on his face? I wish I had a camera. And my fist? My fist was already there. Boom. One punch. Center mass. His protective energy shattered like glass. His ribcage collapsed inward. He ragdolled backwards through 8 tables, blasted through the restaurant wall, and embedded himself in it like a human-shaped decoration. One punch. The entire Nether Tower hit squad collectively soiled themselves. Their top killer, the guy they relied on, the innate realm gold-tier assassin, just got turned into wall art by a single punch from the guy they thought was the easy target. My sister watched the whole thing with sparkling eyes and a proud smirk. This little brat was hiding his power all along. I walked over to the Ming Jian-shaped hole in the wall. He was trying to crawl out, coughing up chunks of things that should really stay inside a person. Why you? You're not Chu Feng. He gasped, staring at me with pure terror. That waist could never be this strong. Who are you? I stopped in front of him. Looked down, raised my foot, placed it gently on his face. Who am I? I smiled. The kind of smile that makes nightmares uncomfortable. I'm your daddy, Stomp. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest one-liner in the history of this dynasty. My second sister, proudly watching her little brother curb stomp an elite assassin while casually surrounded by dozens of killers she hasn't even bothered to look at yet. The Nether Tower, currently experiencing a company-wide existential crisis. Me, standing on a dead man's face, delivering paternity results. Best morning ever. And I haven't even had breakfast yet. Crunch. That was Ming Jian's head. Under my foot. On the stone floor. Like a watermelon at a Gallagher show. I won't describe the details. Use your imagination. Actually, don't use your imagination. It's better that way. I stepped off what used to be a face, turned around to the remaining assassins, and said with the casual energy of someone ordering coffee, "All right, your turn." And then my sister went to work. She didn't even draw a weapon. She just moved. A red blur. An afterimage. A beautiful, terrifying smear of crimson across the battlefield. Screams. What sounds? Bones snapping like breadsticks. These were the Nether Tower's elite killers. People who made entire kingdoms tremble. Professional murderers who'd trained their whole lives. My sister treated them like piñatas at a children's party. 10 breaths. That's all it took. 10 breaths. Every single assassin, dozens of them, including multiple innate realm fighters, was now decorating the floor. My sister stood in the middle of it all, without a single drop of blood on her red outfit, like she'd just gone for a light stroll. The only one left alive was Shadow Serpent, the creep who wanted to break in my sister. He was shaking so hard, he looked like a human vibrating phone. "And monsters. You're monsters." My sister walked up to him, tilted her head, and smiled the prettiest, most terrifying smile I've ever seen. "Correct. But no prize for you. I'll kill you." Shadow Serpent went full kamikaze mode. His body crackled and exploded with power. Half-step golden core realm, way above innate. And he threw everything he had into one desperate claw strike. Green toxic energy dripping from his fingers like acid. Second sister watched it come with the enthusiasm of someone watching paint dry. "That's it." She punched him. Just a simple, clean, no special effects punch with her pretty little fist. His toxic energy evaporated on contact like ice cream in a volcano. Her fist went through his energy shield, through his arm, and landed on his chest like a freight train hitting a scarecrow. He flew. He bled. He landed. He looked up at her like she was God, and God was angry. "Why, you're Golden Core realm," he wheezed. "Buddy, she's not Golden Core. She's not even Primordial Spirit. She's void piercing. You're not even in the same zip code as her power level. You tried to flirt with a nuclear warhead." She grabbed him by the throat and lifted him off the ground one-handed, like picking up a kitten. Then she turned to me with the softest, sweetest expression. Instant personality switch from angel of death to caring big sister. "Little Feng, this guy said he wanted to chop you up and feed you to dogs. What should we do with him?" I walked over, enjoying the sight of this creep turning purple. But something caught my attention. My senses, sharpened by the divine demon body, picked up something hiding in the shadows at the back of the restaurant. Something much, much scarier than anything we'd faced so far. "Hey, whoever's hiding back there, seen enough? Come out, or your little guard dog here becomes a dead dog." Everyone froze. Even second sister looked surprised. Then a gentle chuckle echoed from the darkness, and out shuffled a blind old man. Gray clothes, bamboo cane, no aura whatsoever. Looked like somebody's harmless grandpa who got lost on his way to the park. But my every instinct was screaming. And second sister, the woman who just speed ran an entire assassin squad, went visibly tense. This old man was an abyss. Her void-piercing realm senses couldn't read him at all, like trying to measure the ocean with a teaspoon. The Nether Tower's blind elder greets the young master and second miss of the Marquis household, he said pleasantly, bowing slightly. "Grandmaster Realm," second sister muttered, her playful attitude mostly gone. "Grandmaster Realm, that's above void piercing. We're talking one man versus an entire army territory. The absolute peak of martial arts in this dynasty. The kind of being that creates schools of martial arts for fun. And he was hiding in a restaurant. Save me," Shadow Serpent gurgled from second sister's chokehold. Then he heard, void-piercing realm, used to describe her, and his brain did a full system shutdown. He thought his half-step golden core was impressive. She's 5 major realms above him. That's like a house cat trying to fight Godzilla. Second sister teased me. "Scared little brother? This is a grandmaster. He could blow away your little meridian opening self with a sneeze. Sis, if you're gonna fight, just fight. Stop roasting me. And besides, that's why I brought you. My personal nuclear deterrent." "Cheeky brat," she grinned, then turned back to the old man, and her smile instantly became murder. The old man sighed and tapped his cane gently. "Second miss, today was a misunderstanding. The Nether Tower takes contracts. It's business, not personal. You've already killed plenty. Perhaps we can call it even? I personally guarantee the tower will never come within 30 feet of the young master again. Call it even?" Second sister laughed like he'd told the funniest joke in human history. Then she squeezed. Crack. Shadow Serpent's neck twisted like a pretzel. Dead. She tossed his body at the old man's feet like a used tissue. You took a contract to kill my brother, and now you want to shake hands and walk away. Old man, has living in the sewer rotted your brain? You think the Marquis household is some revolving door? Come whenever you want. Leave whenever you want. The air around the old man's cane started to warp and distort. Not a great sign. So you truly intend to fight the Nether Tower to the death? Second miss. My sister took another step forward. The floor under her foot didn't just crack, it disintegrated. Her red hair whipped around like living flames. The temperature spiked. The walls started smoking. Fight to the death? You think you deserve that honor? Another step. More floor turning to powder. Today, everyone in this base, including you, old blind man, is going in the ground. As a gift to my brother. She said it the way most people say, pass the salt. And I'm standing behind her thinking, this is the most badass woman in the entire dynasty. She's not actually related to me by blood, and she has a top-tier fire constitution that Linger is very excited about. But right now she's about to fight a grandmaster for me, because someone tried to hurt her little brother. This family is absolutely insane, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. Second sister launched herself at the blind old grandmaster like a human comet, and I pressed myself against the wall to watch the show. This was my first time seeing her actually fight, and let me tell you, the pressure coming off this woman made my divine demon body hum like a tuning fork. She wasn't just strong. She was a force of nature. The old blind man swung his bamboo cane, and it left like 50 afterimages, each one heavy enough to crush a mountain. Grandmaster-level techniques. Every hit could shake heaven and earth. Their attacks collided in the middle of the restaurant. No dramatic explosion. Just a silent shockwave that atomized every support pillar in the building. The entire structure groaned like it was begging for death. The old man thought he'd steamroll her. Then his bamboo cane touched her fire and burst into flames. Just, poof, decades-old weapon gone. Burnt to a crispy stick in half a second. Southern Bright Departure Fire, he gasped. Second sister stood there with blue-red flames dancing in both palms, looking at him like he was an insect. Grandmaster? That's IT. You can't even handle my fire. Did you eat your way to this rank? I was in the back going absolutely feral. So this is what a top-tier fire constitution looks like. That fire wasn't just hot. It could burn your soul. Burn space itself. Linger wasn't kidding about her being premium grade. The old man got serious. Dropped his burnt stick, pressed his palms together, and unleashed the Nether Tower's secret technique, Nether Death Energy. Gray, rotting, horrifying aura. Then he cranked his power to Grandmaster level 5, and the entire restaurant's remains got blown away like confetti. I started having trouble breathing. My divine demon body is impressive for my level, but against absolute realm suppression like this, I was a goldfish in a hurricane. Second sister was about to charge again when, threatening my family's young master and second miss, the Nether Tower has grown bolder than it is talented. The most underwhelming voice I've ever heard drifted in from the ruined doorway. Sounded like a grandpa who just woke up from a nap and was mildly annoyed about it. But the blind old grandmaster? His power surge slammed back into his body like someone hit the emergency brake on a rocket. Whatever he was sensing from this newcomer scared him more than my sister's soul-burning fire. I turned to look, and shuffled the most unimpressive human being I've ever seen. A hunched-over old man in a gray robe, carrying a black cloth bag, walking like a stiff breeze might end him. He looked like he should be feeding pigeons in a park, not walking into a demolished assassin headquarters. But the second he appeared, the raging energy storm in the room just stopped, like someone turned off a switch. Complete calm. Uncle Fu, second sister actually relaxed. Her guard dropped completely. What are you doing here? Wasn't Grandpa making you pull weeds in the garden? This was Uncle Fu, our family's butler. The guy who, in all my borrowed memories, did nothing but trim hedges and shuffle around the mansion looking half dead. He was basically furniture with a pulse. Apparently not. He chuckled, showing a mouth with more gaps than teeth. Well, I heard second miss was out, handling business. And I thought I'd come make sure nobody got too rowdy. The blind old grandmaster's face was doing things faces shouldn't do. His grandmaster senses were telling him that this wheezy garden gnome was approximately 10,000 times more dangerous than the fire-breathing goddess who'd just barbecued his weapon. Who are you? He croaked, cold sweat pouring down his face. Uncle Fu ignored him, walked over to me, looked me up and down, nodded. Young master's body is indeed sturdier than before. That beating wasn't for nothing. Uncle Fu, maybe we should focus on the murderous blind guy? Right. He turned to face the blind man, and his cloudy eyes suddenly became razor-sharp for exactly 1 second. Then he raised one hand and casually pressed it toward the air in the old man's direction. That's it. No battle cry. No technique name. Just a lazy push at nothing. Boom. The ground under the blind man collapsed several meters deep. The Grandmaster, screamed like he'd been hit by a falling building. His entire skeleton started cracking like popcorn. He tried to fight back, pouring out his nether death energy, but it evaporated against Uncle Fu's palm like snowflakes hitting lava. Grandmaster, the blind man shrieked. Grandmaster, a level above Grandmaster. A being so powerful that Grandmasters are his toys. And this man has been pulling weeds in our garden. My family's butler can solo entire kingdoms, and his day job is gardening. I stood there with my jaw on the floor watching our house servant step on a Grandmaster's back like he was squishing a cockroach. Who hired you to kill my young master? Blood everywhere. The blind man was being crushed into paste, but he managed to wheeze. Protecting our clients is the Nether Tower's foundation. This rule cannot be broken. Rules? Uncle Fu looked bored. In front of the Chu family, there are no rules we can't break. Take your precious rules to hell and negotiate with the King of Death. He twisted his foot. Gently, like he was putting out a cigarette. The Grandmaster stopped moving. Forever. One twist. One Grandmaster. Dead. Uncle Fu immediately transformed back into harmless old butler mode, smiling warmly. Young master, second miss, shall we head home? The old master is waiting. The man just deleted a Grandmaster and then asked if we wanted to go home like he'd just finished grocery shopping. I am never disrespecting the household staff again. The maid might secretly be able to destroy continents. The cook might punch holes in dimensions. Who knows with this family? We got home that evening, and, surprise, Grandpa was already raging in the meeting hall. He knew everything. Because of course he did. Slam. His palm hit the table. The table survived this time, but the entire building shook. The Nether Tower. How dare they touch my grandson? They think my blade has gone rusty. Then he spun on Dad and unleashed verbal hellfire. And you? What kind of father are you? Your son gets assassinated in the capital, and you find out now? What are those 300,000 soldiers for? Decoration? Have you been a marquis so long you can't even see the flies at your own front door? Dad stood there at military attention, taking the verbal beating like a statue in a thunderstorm. Not a word, not a twitch, just pure, yes, father, I am a disappointment. Energy radiating from every pore. The Chu family hierarchy, ladies and gentlemen. Grandmaster Butler, who does gardening, void-piercing psycho sister, Grandpa, who fears nobody, God of War Dad, who fears Grandpa me, the former trash heap who is rapidly ascending, and somewhere out there, the third prince who ordered my assassination is sleeping peacefully, not knowing that the family he just poked includes a butler who kills grandmasters like stepping on ants. Sweet dreams, Your Highness. You're gonna need them. We got back home and Grandpa was in the meeting hall absolutely destroying Dad with words. Dad, the god of war, terror of nations, was standing there like a schoolboy who forgot his homework. 3 days. You have 3 days to find whoever ordered the hit and wipe out every Nether Tower base within 100 miles of the capital. Not one survivor. Dad just nodded and left to go command armies or whatever. No argument. No protest. Just, yes, father, and gone. I swear, watching the most feared military commander in the dynasty get treated like a misbehaving toddler will never get old. Then Grandpa did his signature move, the instant face switch. 1 second, volcanic rage. Next second, world's sweetest grandpa. Little foam, come here. I walked over like a good grandson. Don't worry about the Nether Tower. To us Chu family, they're just rats in a sewer. Now then, you're really entering the Qianlong rankings? I stood up straight, looked him dead in the eyes, and said, not just entering, Grandpa. I'm taking first place. Silence. Second sister choked on her tea. Nearly did a spit take all over the fancy furniture. First, she slapped her hand on my forehead. No fever. So why are you talking crazy? Even Dad stopped walking and turned around to stare at me like I'd announced I was moving to the moon. Look, I get it. Qianlong Ranking's first place isn't just good, it's the absolute ceiling. The best young warrior in the entire dynasty. Every 10 years, one person gets that title, and every single one of them became a legend. This year's competition is supposedly the strongest in history. Yang family's eldest son is knocking on Golden Core Realm's door. Hidden sects are sending their secret weapons. Every ancient family is deploying their ultimate prodigies. And here's me, Meridian opening level 1. 3 days ago, I was a corpse with a drinking problem. But here's what they don't know. I have a magic tower that bends reality, a cultivation technique from the literal dawn of creation, and a body forged by a cosmic god. If I can't take first place with all that, I should just find a block of tofu and headbutt it until I die of embarrassment. Grandpa, level 1 is temporary. I wasted years being useless, but I'm done with that. I'm the heir of the Marquis household. I'm your grandson. Good enough isn't good enough. I want every so-called genius in this dynasty to realize they're just chickens standing next to a dragon. 3 seconds of silence. Then Grandpa's eyes got misty. He slapped his own thigh so hard the teacups rattled. Good, good, good. That's my grandson. Win or lose, that kind of ambition is what makes a Chu. Go take that first place. Take it. And if anyone gets in your way, I'll personally teach them what Chu family rules look like. Second sister rolled her eyes so hard they nearly left orbit. Grandpa, you're spoiling him again. When he gets eliminated in round 1, where are you going to hide your face? Chu. What do you know? Then Grandpa got serious. Little phone, if you actually take first place, it's about way more than just marrying that girl. Oh, what else? The Qianlong Rankings is actually the qualifying round for something called the 100 Dynasties War. My ears perked up. Our great Qian dynasty is just one of 100 kingdoms in the Eastern Domain. Every 30 years, all the dynasties send their top geniuses to East Emperor Mountain to fight for spots in the East Emperor's secret realm. Only the top 3 from our rankings get to represent the dynasty. 100 dynasties. East Emperor Mountain. A secret realm. This world is way bigger than I thought. We're not even the final stage. We're the tutorial zone. Dad chimed in. The East Emperor's secret realm would be extremely beneficial for your growth. Oh, you bet I'm going. Back at my courtyard, I went to check on Dolly first. They'd gotten all the rare ingredients, and he was soaking in a massive wooden barrel full of awakening medicine. His skin was bright red, veins popping out like garden hoses, face twisted in agony. He looked like a lobster going through a religious experience. Is he okay? Qing Yao asked nervously. He's fine. Bloodline awakening hurts. You can't be reborn without a little pain. I could feel the explosive power building inside him, like a bomb slowly arming itself. This man was going to be an absolute unit when he came out. Then I went to my room and did the most broken thing in my entire cheat code arsenal. I entered the tower's first floor, the chaos space. Inside, there's no time, no space, just infinite swirling chaos energy and that massive golden god figure sitting in the middle of everything, radiating, I was here before the universe, vibes. And here's the cheat of all cheats. Time inside the tower moves differently. 1 moment in the real world equals 100 days inside. 100 days. While everyone else sleeps for 8 hours, I get 3 months of training. This is like having a hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball. Except nobody told me about it until now, and it runs on chaos energy. I started practicing every technique in the chaos divine demon art. Punches that summoned ghostly god-demon images. Finger strikes that ripped holes in space itself. Each move more terrifying than the last. Day after day after day, inside the tower. My body getting refined by chaos energy. Every muscle, every bone, every cell leveling up continuously. My divine demon supreme body getting denser, harder, more ridiculous. From clumsy to competent. From competent to smooth. From smooth to mastery. 100 days of nonstop training compressed into one real-world moment. So while the rest of the dynasty is gossiping about the mysterious masked man, trying to figure out who he is, debating whether I can make top 10, and generally underestimating me in every possible way, I'm in a pocket dimension doing the equivalent of a 100-day training montage on fast forward. 1 month until the Qianlong Rankings. They have no idea what's coming. While I was inside my magic time-bending tower doing a 100-day training montage in the span of a coffee break, the rest of the world was having a meltdown. Let me tell you what was happening behind the scenes, because apparently my existence is causing problems for people I've never even met. Deep underground, in the Nether Tower's secret headquarters, because of course assassin organizations have evil underground lairs, their entire leadership was having an emergency meeting. Picture this, a creepy dark throne room. A bone throne, empty, because their boss is apparently too cool to show up, and about a dozen shadowy figures in black robes sitting around radiating, "We've killed more people than you've met," energy. These are the 4 guardians and 9 elders, the Nether Tower's executive board, basically. "The blind elder is dead," announced the head elder. The entire capital base, wiped out. 0 survivors. You could have heard a pin drop in a graveyard. Their reaction was basically, "Wait, the Grandmaster-level old blind guy? The guy who's been our security blanket for decades? Just gone." It was the Marquis household's second daughter, void-piercing realm, southern bright fire constitution, and an unknown old butler who killed the blind elder in one move. Grandmaster, one of them whispered. The whole room went sub-zero. A butler, a random household servant from my family, is a grandmaster, and they just found out the hard way. I bet they're rethinking every butler they've ever met now. One elder tried to be reasonable. "We lost a grandmaster for a couple million silver. This contract isn't worth it. Let's cut our losses." "Shut up." The blood slaughter guardian smashed his armrest into powder. "The Nether Tower has existed for centuries. We don't do refunds. If someone pays us to kill a target, that target dies. This is about our reputation," the snake guardian agreed. "If we let this slide, everyone will think we're pushovers." Then the head elder looked at the empty bone throne, took a deep breath, and dropped the nuclear option. "We need to call him." The entire room flinched. Even Bloodslaughter, the guy who was just screaming about reputation, looked scared. Whoever sits on that bone throne is apparently so terrifying that even the Nether Tower's own leadership doesn't want to wake him up. "Isn't that overkill for one kid?" someone asked nervously. "Overkill?" The head elder smiled with the look of a man who's been waiting for this moment. "Our Tower Master has been in seclusion for years. The world has forgotten who rules the darkness. Let his blade remind the entire dynasty. Blood debts are paid in blood." Cool. Great. So the Nether Tower's final boss is coming out of retirement specifically to kill me. The guy is apparently so powerful that even grandmasters are nervous. And he's coming for little old me. Added to the list, right between Psycho Prince and 5 ancient families who probably want revenge. Meanwhile, in the real world, 3 days passed, and the news about me entering the Qianlong rankings spread everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean everywhere. Every tea house, every bar, every street corner. The entire capital was treating my announcement like the funniest joke of the century. Did you hear? The #1 playboy is entering the Qianlong rankings. Huh? Old news. He says he's making top 10. Top 10? Did a donkey kick his head? With that body, he won't survive the first round. I bet 1 silver coin he gets his legs broken and carried out on a stretcher. I bet he doesn't. Last 3 moves. The entire city was basically running a betting pool on how fast I'd get destroyed. Heartwarming stuff, really. Nice to know the public believes in me. Over at the 3rd Prince's mansion, Zhao Tong, the psycho stalker who started all of this, was having his daily tantrum. Crash. Another priceless antique smashed against the wall. Useless. The Nether Tower is useless. I spent months planning this, and not only is that waste alive, he's trying to marry my Hongwan, his servant, trembling on the floor. Sir, he's just bluffing. There's no way he makes top 10. Idiot. He might be trash, but his insane grandpa and war god father aren't. What if they pump him full of rare treasures and force his cultivation up? That old lunatic would do anything for his grandson. Then he went full psycho. Hongwan is mine. Mine. Contact my grandfather immediately. I don't care what it takes. That waste must die. This dude is unhinged. He orchestrated the original fight, hired assassins, got them all killed, and now he's calling in family connections for attempt number 3. Sir, at what point do you take a hint? The universe is clearly telling you this isn't your girl. And then, at the 2nd Prince's mansion, because apparently every prince has opinions about my love life. Things were much calmer. The second prince, Zhao Yu, was sitting in a beautiful garden playing chess with a white-haired old man. He placed a piece and smiled pleasantly. Teacher, what do you think about the marquis heir entering the Qianlong rankings? His chess partner, the right prime minister, Bai Jianzhou, a.k.a. my grandpa's political rival, a.k.a. the grandfather of Bai Buffon, the guy whose face I rearranged at the pleasure house. So we've got the Nether Tower waking up their final boss, the third prince calling his grandpa for assassination backup, and the second prince strategizing with the right prime minister. All because I want to marry a girl and punch my way to first place on a leaderboard. You know what? Bring it. All of you. I've got a time-bending tower, a cosmic body, a butler who kills grandmasters for exercise, a sister who sets the air on fire, a grandpa who'd fight God himself, and a big friendly giant currently marinating in magic juice. The Qianlong rankings aren't ready, and neither are any of you. While I was busy inside my time-bending tower punching chaos energy and getting swole, apparently the entire dynasty was holding meetings about how to destroy me. Let me walk you through the absolute circus that was happening behind my back, because honestly, I'm almost flattered. The right prime minister's evil chess game remembered by Buffon, the guy I slapped at the pleasure house. His grandpa, the right prime minister, was sitting in a garden playing chess with the second prince, casually plotting my demise like it was a Sunday hobby. Chu family wants to marry the female god of slaughter? How adorable, the old fox said while murdering white chess pieces. If they combine Yi Hongwan's military power with their own, they'd be unstoppable. The emperor would never allow it. The court officials would never allow it. The second prince nodded but was still nervous. But what if they pumped Chu Feng full of rare treasures and somehow force him into the top 10? The right prime minister smiled the kind of smile that makes puppies cry. Then we make him everyone's enemy. His plan? Beautiful in its evil simplicity. Spread the word that I'm a fake genius, a fraud propped up by daddy's money and grandpa's pills. Then sit back and watch every real genius in the competition target me out of pure pride and rage. Those young prodigies are arrogant beyond measure. You think they'll tolerate a fraud sharing the top 10 with them? They'll tear him apart themselves. And if he dies on the tournament stage? Well, fists and kicks don't have eyes. Even that crazy old man can't complain. His grandson chose to compete. One move. Destroy the grandson, waste the family's resources, and turn every major faction against them. The second prince was practically glowing. Teacher, you're brilliant. Then they started talking about the mysterious masked man from the arena, aka me, and how they needed to recruit this incredible talent before anyone else did. They're trying to recruit me to fight against me. The irony is so thick I could spread it on bread. Oh, and they also mentioned Yang Tianba, eldest son of the Yang family, has apparently broken through to innate realm level 9 and is a top 5 contender. You know, the big brother of the kid whose face I used as a doormat. I'm sure that family reunion conversation went great. The fifth prince's creepy revenge fantasy over at Prince No. 5's palace, the guy I extorted for 10 million silver. Things were disturbing. Zhao Qian was lounging on a jade bed with some barely dressed seductress hand feeding him grapes mouth to mouth while he fantasized about torturing me. A waste thinks he can enter the Qianlong rankings? Pathetic, the woman giggled. Want me to kill him for you, your highness? No, he's not worth your effort. I sent the viper. I won't let him die quickly. I want him to suffer in front of everyone. I want him on his knees, begging me like a dog. Cool, so Prince No. 5 has sent some assassin called the Viper after me, and his revenge fantasy involves public humiliation. This is fine. Everything is fine. The third prince's continued meltdown. Meanwhile, my biggest fan Zhao Tong, third prince, original architect of my near-death experience, obsessive stalker of my future wife, was smashing more expensive pottery. The Nether Tower is garbage. That waste is alive and trying to marry my Hongwan. His servant tried calming him down. Got kicked across the room for the effort. Contact my grandfather. I don't care what it takes. Chu Feng must die, so now he's calling in his maternal grandfather for backup. Every time this man fails, he just escalates to a bigger relative. At this rate, he'll be petitioning God himself by next Tuesday. And then there's the emperor. Yeah, the emperor. The actual ruler of the entire dynasty. He's been reading intelligence reports about my family. Late at night, alone in his study, And he is not happy. Chu Lingyan. Void-piercing realm. Southern bright fire. Family butler. Suspected grandmaster. His eyebrows kept getting tighter and tighter as he read. Then he turned to his personal eunuch and said the words that should probably terrify me the most. This Chu family. They're hiding quite a lot, aren't they? He started listing us like we're a threat assessment. Grandpa, 3 dynasty veteran, controls the entire government. Father, god of war, commands 300,000 soldiers. Now a daughter who's a void-piercing prodigy. A butler who's a grandmaster. And a useless grandson who's suddenly interesting. And now they want to marry into the Yi family's military power too? Do they think my throne needs a new owner? The eunuch was face down on the floor having a panic attack. Your Majesty, the Chu family is loyal. They would never. Loyal? The emperor's eyes went cold as death. I don't need their loyalty. I need their obedience. Then he gave an order that made my blood run cold, retroactively, since I didn't know about this at the time. Put the Imperial Secret Service on that playboy. Every move he makes, every word he says, every meal he eats, every person he meets. I want to know everything. I need to determine if he's truly a useless waste, or if he's been pretending all along. Pause for dramatic effect. If it's the latter, his eyes flashed with killing intent. Kill him without mercy. So let's do a quick headcount of people who want me dead or destroyed. The Nether Tower. Waking up their ultra-secret tower master from hibernation, the 3rd prince. Calling in his grandpa for assassination attempt number 3. The 5th prince sent an assassin called the Viper for public humiliation, the 2nd prince right prime minister, turning every tournament competitor against me, the Yang family, whose elder I killed and whose heir I face-stomped, the emperor himself, who will personally order my execution if he finds out I'm not actually trash, every young genius in the dynasty, about to be manipulated into thinking I'm a fraud who needs to be eliminated, and people who are rooting for me. Grandpa would fight God. Dad, quietly impressed. 2nd sister would kidnap my bride. Uncle Fu would garden my enemies to death. Schwanger, my portable power bank. Qingyao, professional sword lady. Dolly, currently marinating. Linger, lives in my head. Very enthusiastic. 8 versus the entire world. And I'm in a time-stop tower, blissfully unaware, getting stronger every fake second, thinking, yeah, this is going pretty well. Oh, sweet ignorant me. This is going to be the most chaotic month of anyone's life. I popped out of my tower training session and took a deep breath. The air that came out of my lungs shot across the room like a laser beam and left a visible white streak hanging in the air. That's new. I checked my internal stats. 5 meridians open. Meridian opening realm, level 5. 3 days ago, I was level 1. That's 4 entire realms in 72 hours. If anyone in this dynasty found out, they'd probably check themselves into a mental hospital. Still too slow, I muttered, because apparently I've become that guy. The guy who breaks every cultivation record in existence and goes, meh. The problem is, Schwanger's profound body is starting to lose its kick. Like using a phone charger on a laptop. Technically works, but the charging speed is embarrassing. I need a bigger power source. And wouldn't you know it, I'm surrounded by premium-grade options. 2nd sister, Southern bright fire body, top tier, not blood-related. Linger won't shut up about it. Qingyao, ancient divine bird bloodline, my bodyguard/walking power bank. Yi Hongwan, future wife, female god of slaughter, constitution probably off the charts. I paused and looked around at all the gorgeous, powerful women in my immediate orbit. Is this a cultivation story or a harem simulator? Because the universe is being suspiciously generous with the female power-ups lately. Before I could spiral further into that thought, Qingyao's voice came from outside. Young master, the Misty Rain Pavilion auction starts tonight. Oh right. The fancy invitation from 3 days ago. Shopping time. I got dressed, opened my door, and immediately found 2nd sister leaning against the doorframe like she'd been waiting for her cue in a movie. Oh look, the busy man finally crawled out of bed. I thought you were going to hibernate until the tournament. I ignored the sass. But then she froze mid-step. Her eyes locked onto me like a targeting system. Meridian opening. 5. She grabbed my wrist and sent her energy scanning through me. Then she made a sound like someone had punched her in the brain. 3 days. Level 1 to level 5 in 3 days? What did you eat? Are you even human? This woman, The void-piercing realm genius, the prodigy who thought SHE was the family's biggest talent, was looking at me like I was a science experiment that had escaped the lab. I casually pulled my wrist back and said with maximum cool guy energy, "Basic stuff. No big deal." Her eye twitched. I could physically see her restraining herself from strangling me. "Fine. Whatever. Stop showing off and come with me. Auction tonight. I'm buying you gear so you don't embarrass yourself at the tournament." Oh, perfect. I was heading there anyway. I told Qingyao to grab a mask for second sister too, and when she asked why, I casually mentioned the whole, "I'm secretly the mysterious masked man who killed a Yang family innate realm master and has every faction in the city tearing up floorboards trying to find me" thing. Second sister went through several emotions in rapid succession. Surprise, disbelief, then she lost it laughing. Ha ha ha. The mysterious genius that every prince and family is desperate to recruit, offering fortunes, connections, anything, is you, the useless playboy? Ha ha ha. She was doubled over, tears streaming down her face. If they ever find out that their once-in-a-generation prodigy is the same guy they've been calling trash for 20 years. Oh my God, their faces. Ha! So, I'm famous? Famous? You're the hottest commodity in the capital right now. Well then, let's keep that mask on. Nighttime. The Misty Rain Pavilion looked even more ridiculous after dark, glowing like it was made of solid gold and crystal, with a parade of exotic beast-drawn carriages lined up outside. Every rich person in the dynasty was here, dripping with jewelry and bodyguards. We rolled up masked and anonymous. 3 nobodies in a sea of nobility. Perfect. We were about 10 feet from the front door when, "Move. Get out of the way." A squad of guards started shoving people aside for some massive carriage pulled by 4 snow-white dragon horses. Every single one worth a fortune. The carriage itself was basically a mobile palace. The crowd went nuts. It's the Shun family. One of the 5 great houses. Those dragon horses are priceless. A snotty-looking young man stepped out first, radiating, "My family could buy your family," energy. Then a woman in a white dress emerged, beautiful, cold, untouchable, like a snow lotus that would rather freeze to death than let you touch it. Shun Lang and Shun Zhihua, brother and sister of the Shun clan. Everyone bowed. Everyone moved aside. Everyone showed proper respect. Except us 3 idiots in masks, who were standing right in the path, not moving an inch. The brother spotted us, and his face twisted. What kind of peasants don't move aside for the Shun family carriage? Looking for death? Second sister started to emit killing intent. I could feel the temperature rising beside me. But I spoke first, picked my ear with my pinky, which is becoming my signature move at this point, and said in the laziest voice possible, "The Shun family? Is that supposed to be impressive? Last time I checked, the Misty Rain Pavilion isn't your house. Why should I move for you, dead?" Silence. Drink every time this happens. Everyone stared at me like I'd just insulted gravity. Shun Lang turned purple. Insolent. A coward who won't even show his face dares talk back to me? Guards. Rip off his mask and break both his legs. Stop. The Shun sister, the Snow Lotus girl, suddenly spoke up. Her cold eyes fixed on me with curiosity. Something about me had caught her attention. She couldn't figure out what, but she could tell I wasn't ordinary. Before she could say anything more, the hostess from the pavilion came rushing out. She didn't even glance at the Shun siblings. Walked straight past them, past their priceless horses, past their army of guards, came right to me, bowed deeply, and said in her sweetest voice, "Sir, you've arrived. The pavilion master has prepared our finest private box for you. Please, right this way." She gestured toward the entrance like I was royalty. The look on Shun Lang's face? I wish I could frame it. Confusion, shock, humiliation, and existential crisis all fighting for control of his facial muscles at the same time. The peasant he was about to have beaten and thrown out. Is a VIP so important that the Misty Rain Pavilion, the place that even royalty respects, rolled out the red carpet and didn't even acknowledge the Shun family's existence? Second sister was shaking with silent laughter behind her mask. Qingyao stood there stoic as ever, probably internally adding, "Public humiliation of ancient noble families" to my growing resume. And me? I just strolled past the slack-jawed crowd and into the building, following my personal hostess to the best seat in the house. Being a mysterious VIP is fun. We strolled toward the entrance, and Shun Lang was still behind us having a full meltdown. Stop. You're not leaving until you explain yourself. Who are you? I turned around slowly, giving him my best. You're still here. Look through the mask. And I was about to deliver another devastating one-liner when some random dude in the crowd did it for me. This guy had been at the Beast Arena that night. He spotted my bronze mask, my purple gold invitation, sensed my meridian opening aura, and his brain connected all the dots at once. Purple gold, invitation, bronze mask, meridian opening realm. I remember now. He pointed at me like he'd just identified a celebrity at the grocery store. He's the mysterious masked man who killed the Yang family's innate realm master with one punch. Boom. Information nuke. Direct hit on everyone's brain. The entire crowd outside the pavilion went through the 5 stages of grief simultaneously. Shock, denial, bargaining, depression, and finally, absolute terror. That's the monster, meridian opening killing innate. It's real. No wonder the pavilion treats him like royalty. Every single person who'd been snickering at the peasant suddenly felt their faces catch fire. The ones who'd called me trash were trying to physically merge with the crowd and disappear. And Shun Lang? Oh, Shun Lang. This man had just ordered his guards to break the legs of a guy who punches through people's chests for fun. The realization hit him like a truck full of bricks hitting another truck full of bricks. Cold sweat soaked through his fancy robes so fast it looked like he'd jumped in a river. His sister, the Snow Lotus Beauty, had actual visible emotions for the first time. Her cold eyes were doing that thing where they go, oh, this person is interesting. But I'd already turned around and walked inside without a word, because acknowledging them would be giving them too much credit. Behind me, one of Shun Lang's lackeys cautiously asked, "Young master, are you okay?" Shun Lang, still pale as paper, tried to save face. Humph. So what if he's talented? He's offended the Yang family. He's dead no matter what. Sure, buddy. Keep telling yourself that while you change your pants. We got escorted to the 7th floor, the VIP level, and into a private box called Celestial Pivot. This thing was ridiculous. Massive room, luxury everything, one-way crystal windows so we could see the entire auction hall below, but nobody could see us. Like having a private box at the Super Bowl, except everyone attending could kill you with their bare hands. Second sister ripped off her mask the instant we walked in, flopped onto a beast skin sofa, and started shoving spirit fruits into her mouth like popcorn. TSK, little brother the celebrity. Better watch yourself out there. Every girl in the dynasty is gonna want to have your babies now. I ignored her and scanned the auction floor. The place was packed. 2 levels, regular seats below full of rich people, and VIP boxes above for the truly powerful. I could sense at least 20 innate realm auras. This wasn't an auction, it was a supervillain convention. Then the crowd got loud again. It's the Yang family. That's the eldest son, Yang Tianba. I looked down and saw him. This dude was built. Imagine if a mountain decided to become a person and then hit the gym. He walked in radiating the kind of aura that makes furniture nervous. Innate realm level 9, body like a tank, energy like a dragon. He's legit, I muttered. Way stronger than the old man I killed from his family. This was the guy everyone said was a lock for top 5 at the Qianlong rankings. Second sister scoffed without even looking. Just a brute. When the tournament starts, your big sis will beat him so hard his own mother won't recognize him. Sis, I think I'm supposed to be the one fighting. Details. Then I noticed something that made my neck prickle. A figure in a black cloak slipped into the hall like smoke, sat in a dark corner, and became basically invisible. Nobody saw him. Nobody sensed him. But I did. And the danger signal coming off this person made my divine demon body tingle. Filing that away under, people who might try to kill me later. The folder is getting pretty thick. Then the main event started. Every light in the hall focused on the central stage, and out walked the auctioneer. Every man in the room forgot how to breathe. She was wearing a purple slit dress that left approximately nothing to the imagination, moving with the kind of grace that should probably require a license. No makeup, but she didn't need it. She was the kind of beautiful that makes other beautiful people feel bad about themselves. Her peach blossom eyes swept across the room, and half the audience went slack-jawed. This humble servant Lu Rian welcomes all distinguished guests to the Misty Rain Pavilion. Her voice was pure honey-coated magic. The room temperature went up 5 degrees just from her talking. I stared at her, and something clicked in my brain. A name. From my previous life's web novel knowledge. Lu Ruyan? The Ruyan. Empress? What empress? Second sister looked at me confused. Before I could explain my weird déjà vu moment, linger erupted in my head. Master, this woman is not ordinary. My eyes narrowed. Let me guess. Special body constitution? Because at this point, literally every attractive woman I meet turns out to be a cultivation power-up. It's like the universe created a cheat code and made it exclusively available in beautiful woman flavor. I'm not complaining, but I am noticing the pattern. Linger was going nuts in my head about the auction lady. Master, there's a terrifying power inside this woman. It's sleeping. She's not ordinary at all. I may have stared a little too long because second sister immediately caught me. Oh, already got your eyes on the pretty auctioneer. Cough, cough. I am not that kind of person. She gave me the most devastating eye roll in human history. A look that said, you are exactly that kind of person and we both know it. The auction kicked off and honestly, the first 9 items were boring. Fancy swords, rare pills, combat techniques, stuff that would make normal warriors lose their minds, but to me was basically dollar store merchandise. Second sister was so unimpressed, she'd given up watching entirely and was just demolishing a plate of spirit fruits like it owed her money. Then item number 10 came out. A blood-red plant shaped like dragon whiskers, pulsing with raw vital energy, so intense the entire room got hot, like someone turned on a giant heater made of pure power. The auctioneer, Lu Ruyan, got serious for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the dragon blood sacred grass, grown in soil where a true dragon once bled. It took 1,000 years to absorb even a trace of dragon blood. For body cultivators, this is the ultimate treasure. It can even help peak meridian opening warriors break through to innate realm. The room went feral. Every warrior was drooling, eyes glowing with greed, breathing heavy. Up in the Yang family box, Yang Tianba, the mountain-shaped eldest son, was practically shaking. His whole fighting style was body cultivation, and this grass was like finding the missing piece to his ultimate power-up puzzle. His advisor whispered that it could push him to Golden Core Realm before the tournament, making him a lock for first place. But then Linger screamed, Master, the dragon blood essence in that grass is perfect for Dali's innate divine strength body. If he takes it with his bath, his power awakening will be supercharged. My eyes lit up like Christmas. Dali with fully awakened power could punch through dimensions. This grass was his miracle steroid. I had to have it. Starting bid. 3 million silver taels, 5 million. Yang Tianba's voice boomed through the hall like a cannon, jumping the price by 2 million right out the gate. Classic power move. Big money energy. This is mine. Don't even try. Half the room sighed and gave up. Nobody wants to mess with the Yang family wallet. Nobody except me. 6 million, I said from my box. Casual. Bored. Like ordering lunch. The entire hall whipped their heads toward my box. Someone dares compete with Yang Tianba? Yang Tianba's face went dark. 8 million, 10 million. I said it the same way you'd say, pass the salt. Meanwhile, 10 million taels is enough to buy a small city. Second sister was watching this like premium entertainment. Oh, you want this grass? Need big sis to help? Nah, I've got money. I patted my pocket where those beautiful bank notes from my prince extortion scheme were sitting. 20 million. Yang Tianba roared, dropping the hammer. The crowd gasped. 20 million for a plant. And in my box, I performed rapid mental math and arrived at a devastating conclusion, that I only have 10 million. My entire bankroll, the fortune I'd squeezed out of the fifth prince, was suddenly pocket change. Second sister explained that the 5 great families have been hoarding wealth since the dynasty was founded. Hundreds of years of accumulated money. The entire economy is basically their piggy bank. A few tens of millions is like tipping the waiter to them. I swallowed my pride and looked at my sister. Sis, can I borrow some? Borrow? She looked offended. When has a sister ever made her little brother borrow? What's mine is yours. Then she lazily called out, 30 million. Pandemonium. Yang Tianba was vibrating with rage. He glared at our box and growled. Who are you? Do you truly wish to make an enemy of the Yang family? Second sister let out a laugh so condescending it could peel paint off walls. Make an enemy of the Yang family? You think you're worthy of being our enemy? My little brother wants this grass. If you've got more money, keep bidding. If you're broke, shut your mouth. Then she dropped the nuke. 50 million. The entire auction hall lost its collective mind. This wasn't bidding anymore. This was taking 50 million silver taels, rolling them into a ball, and throwing it at Yang Tianba's face. One of the Yang family elders nearly had an actual stroke. Yang Tianba himself was shaking so hard his chair disintegrated under his energy output. His eyes were red. His killing intent was flooding the room. 50 million was absurdly over market value. The grass was worth maybe 10 or 15 million tops. My sister had just paid triple its value purely to humiliate the Yang family. Fine. Yang Tianba hissed through his teeth. I will remember this. He backed down. Not because he was broke, because he realized we were specifically trying to make him look stupid, and continuing to bid would only make it worse. 50 million going once. Twice. Sold. The hammer dropped. Lu Rian's peach blossom eyes glanced at our box with that same. You're interesting. Look that every powerful woman in this dynasty keeps giving me. The grass got delivered to our box. I held it in my hands like a newborn baby. 50 million well spent. Dolly was going to become an extinction-level event with this thing. Second sister just yawned like she hadn't casually dropped 50 million taels to win a flex war. Being born into wealth different. But the night wasn't over. Oh no. Because Lu Rian clapped her hands and brought out the next item. A piece of torn, ancient beast hide covered in mysterious symbols, radiating an aura that felt old. Like, existed before civilization, old. And I had a feeling this was going to cost even more money I didn't have. Good thing I brought my rich sister. The auction lady, Lu Rian, was up there caressing this crusty old piece of animal skin like it was a newborn baby, and the whole room was staring at it trying to figure out why a moldy leather scrap deserved its own dramatic reveal. This, dear guests, is one of the treasure maps left behind by the Spirit King 1,000 years ago. Some young guys in the crowd. Spirit King? Who? An old man nearly had a religious experience. Ignorant children. The Spirit King's name is not something you compare to mere sect founders. I looked at second sister. So who's this Spirit King? Sounds like a big deal. She actually got serious, which almost never happens. That's how I knew this was real. 1,000 years ago, before the Eastern domain split into 100 kingdoms, one person ruled everything. The Spirit King. His cultivation had reached the legendary King realm. In his era, our entire great Qin dynasty would have been just a backyard, King realm. I asked Linger what level that was. Her response was beautifully supportive as always. Master, with your pathetic cultivation, thinking about King realm is like an ant wondering what's above the sky. Between you and King realm, there's still innate, golden core, primordial spirit, void piercing, grandmaster, celestial phenomenon, mystic penetration, dharma manifestation, heaven human. Basically, you're about 10,000 miles away. But yes, the beast hide is legit. There's a seal on it that only a King realm expert could leave. Thanks, Linger. Really needed that ego boost. Down in the Yang family box, their elder was practically vibrating. Young master. Our ancient records say the Spirit King sealed all his treasures in a secret realm called the Spirit Palace before he died. The key was split into 4 maps. If we get even one, the Yang family could dominate the entire dynasty for the next 100 years. Yang Tianba's eyes went full crazy mode. All that rage from losing the dragon grass. Gone. Replaced by pure, undiluted greed. How do we know it's real? He barked at Lu Rian, flexing his innate realm level 9 pressure. She didn't even flinch. Just smiled. The Misty Rain Pavilion's reputation is our guarantee. If it's fake, we'll refund 10 times the purchase price. The crowd gasped. 10 times guarantee. They'd never offered that before. Starting bid. 10 million silver taels, and the feeding frenzy began. 15 million. Yang Tianba, immediately aggressive. 20 million. 5th Prince Zhao Qian, the guy I robbed 10 million from. Apparently, he's got more where that came from. 25 million. Shun Jingxue, the Snow Lotus beauty from the Shun family. The price hit 30 million in about 4 breaths. I sat in my box watching rich people throw money around like confetti, but my brain was doing something else entirely. Linger, the map is incomplete. Only one of 4 pieces. Is it even worth buying? Are you stupid, master? You have the Yin-Yang creation tower. If I can just touch this fragment, I can memorize its energy signature. Then whenever any of the other three pieces appear within range, I'll sense them automatically. My eyes went wide. This wasn't buying a map. This was buying a GPS tracker for the other three maps. Everyone else would get a useless quarter of a treasure map. I would get a homing beacon that leads me to the complete set. Second sister, she read my face instantly. Her red lips curved up. 50 million. Doubled the current price in one breath. The room went silent. Again, this is becoming our signature move. Yang Tianba looked like he was about to have a stroke. His knuckles went white, gripping the railing. Again, the same box. The same insane bidder who just humiliated him. Enough. Know your limits, he roared. This map can't be protected with money alone. Translation: I'll rob you after you buy it. Second sister's response was chef's kiss. You talk too much. If you're broke, leave. Why are you barking? She called one of the 5 great families' strongest heir a broke, barking dog. In front of hundreds of people. My sister is the most savage human being in this dynasty, and it's not even close. Yang Tianba turned to his elder. How much do we have? 6,000. 60 million is our limit, young master. Beyond that, we'd need to tap the family's secret vault. Do it. 60 million. There's no way they can top that. 60 million, Yang Tianba screamed, voice cracking with desperation. Second sister waited exactly 1 second. Then, 100 million. 100 million. That's the entire annual tax revenue of the great Qin dynasty. The whole country. Every citizen. Every business. 1 year of national income. And my sister just casually dropped it like she was tipping a waiter. People literally stood up from their seats. Jaws unhinged. Brains melted. Several old men clutched their chests. Yang Tianba went white as a corpse. His aides were probably calculating whether the Yang family could even match that number if they liquidated their grandmother. Find out who's in that box, he screamed at his subordinates. Whoever is opposing the Yang family will die without a complete corpse. I was sitting next to my sister thinking, where does our family get this kind of money? Are we secretly printing our own currency? Is there a gold mine under the mansion I don't know about? Second sister just sat there looking bored, eating fruit, like she hadn't just bid the GDP of a nation on a piece of old leather. The auctioneer raised her hammer, going once, going twice, and then, 110 million, a voice from the back of the first floor. Cold, empty, zero emotion. Like a robot made of ice had learned to speak. Everyone froze. Again, for the millionth time. The entire room turned to look at the darkest corner of the hall. And I remembered that cloaked figure from earlier. The one nobody noticed. The one that set off my danger sensors when he walked in. He was bidding. Against us. Against my sister who just threw around 100 million like it was pocket change. And he didn't sound like he was bluffing. Oh boy, tonight just got very interesting. I was chilling in my fancy VIP box when some dude who looked like he crawled out of a rice paddy dropped a bomb on the whole auction house. 110 million silver taels for a piece of old leather. Everyone's necks snapped around so fast I swear I heard vertebrae cracking. And what did they see? A middle-aged guy in a shirt so washed out it forgot what color it used to be, mud on his shoes, smoking a pipe like he had nowhere to be. This man looked like he'd get turned away from a noodle shop for being too broke, and he just casually threw out enough money to make the royal family cry. My second sister Ling Yin jumped up like someone lit a fire under her. She stared at him through our one-way window, and I could practically see flames dancing in her eyes. Literal flames, by the way. She's that kind of person. Grandmaster Realm, she whispered. Oh great, another Grandmaster. These guys are supposed to be rarer than an honest politician, legendary figures who could found their own martial sects. I hadn't seen one my entire life, and now I've bumped into 3 in a few days. What is this, a Grandmaster convention? Did someone send out invitations I didn't know about? And he's way stronger than that blind guy from the Shadow Tower, Ling Yin added, looking genuinely worried. Cool. Everything's fine. But you know what? I might not be able to beat this old farmer in a fight, but this isn't a fight. This is a money fight. And I've got the Marquis household's bottomless wallet and my second sister, who's basically a walking treasury with anger issues. Keep going, I told her. Real calm. Real cool. Definitely not sweating at all. Ling Yin looked at me, grinned, and said, sure thing. If it makes you happy, I'll buy the whole damn auction house. 150 million. The entire room made that sucking air through teeth sound. You know the one. The universal sound of, "That's way too much money." Old Farmer Grandmaster did not like that. He shot 2 beams of killing intent straight at our booth. Actual visible energy that slammed into our protective barrier like angry lasers. Then he had the audacity to threaten us. Something about, "Having money is nice, but you need to be alive to spend it." My sister's response? Chef's kiss. "My life is plenty hard, old man. Shut up, raise your price, or sit down. This is an auction house, not a debate club." She blasted her own aura right back at him and shattered his pressure like it was made of wet tissue paper. I've never been more proud and terrified of a family member simultaneously. The guy went quiet, gripped his pipe, thought about it. 200 million. The room literally froze. 200 million silver taels. For a piece of a map. A torn, beat up, probably smells like ancient monster piece of a map. 210 million. Ling Yin fired back instantly. Didn't even blink. Didn't even pause to pretend she was thinking about it. Speed bid. Power move. The old farmer's face finally cracked. He stared at our booth for a long, uncomfortable moment, then let out this creepy little laugh. Well, the Marquis household certainly has deep pockets. He just outed us. In front of everyone. Just casually announced who we were like he was reading a dinner menu. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate the privacy violation. Then he dropped the most ominous line possible. I'll just keep this map at your place for now. I'll come pick it up personally, and walked out. His back looked like something out of a horror movie. All sinister and cold, and "I'll definitely be back to murder you" vibes. Did he just threaten to rob our house? I asked. Please, Ling Yin scoffed. He wants to come to the Marquis mansion? Uncle Fu would use him as a mop. Fair point. Uncle Fu is terrifying. But still, having a Grandmaster-level stalker is not on my bucket list. The map fragment arrived at our booth, and the second I touched it, whoosh. This ancient, bone-chilling energy rushed into my body like a frozen river. It felt like the primordial chaos itself was trying to give me a brain freeze from the inside out. Any normal martial artist would have gone insane on the spot. But my chaos divine demon technique kicked in automatically, grabbed that energy, crushed it, chewed it up, and swallowed it whole. Then my yin-yang tower did its thing. Analyzed the energy signature, and basically installed a GPS tracker for the other 3 map fragments. Master, got it, little Ling chirped in my head. If any of the other 3 pieces come within 1,000 miles, I'll ping you immediately. 210 million for an automatic treasure hunting radar. Worth every copper. Meanwhile, the auction hall turned into a gossip hurricane. Everyone and their grandmother was talking about us. The Marquis household. Of course it's those lunatics. Only that family of absolute psychos would burn money like that. Over in the Yang family's booth, Yang Tianba was grinding his teeth so hard I'm surprised he had any left. That meathead was plotting something. I could feel it. His creepy old advisor was whispering about how we'd become everyone's target now that our identity was exposed. Something about a family that possesses treasure they can't protect. Real original, Grandpa. Never heard that one before. Yang Tianba was fixated on the dragon blood sacred grass. Apparently he needed it for some ranking or whatever, and he was already planning to come after us tonight. Bold move 4. A guy whose entire personality is angry and loud. But before anyone could scheme further, the gorgeous auctioneer Willow spoke up again, and what she said made the whole room forget about everything else. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought the Spirit King's map was tonight's grand finale. She smiled that devastating smile. What comes next is the real showstopper. Oh, come on. My wallet just got murdered, and now there's something even more expensive? Being rich is exhausting. Just when I thought my wallet could finally rest in peace, the gorgeous auctioneer Willow hit us with the, but wait, there's more, energy. A servant girl walked up carrying a jade box like it contained the meaning of life itself. Willow opened it, and oh man. This smell hit the entire room like a freight train made of flowers and dreams. Everyone's internal energy just went brrr. My chi started doing jumping jacks without permission. Inside the box, floating like it owned the place, was a pill about the size of a longan fruit, perfectly round, glowing with 7-colored divine light. Just vibing there. Menacingly. Someone in the crowd recognized it and screamed with a shaking voice, "The marrow cleansing pill," and the room went absolutely feral. This thing is basically a cheat code in pill form. Take it as a regular nobody with 0 talent? Congratulations, You're now a genius. Take it as someone already strong. You just broke through your ceiling and became heaven's favorite child. It's the ultimate. Life isn't fair. Item, and everyone wanted it like their lives depended on it. My sister nearly pressed her face against the window. How the hell did Misty Rain Pavilion get their hands on this? Grandpa and Dad spent years searching the entire kingdom trying to find one for you. That last part hit different. So the original owner of this body, the old Chu Feng, his family had been desperately searching for this pill to help him. They really did care about him that much. Anyway, moving on before I get emotional in the middle of an auction. Down below, it was chaos. Fifth Prince, Zhao Qian, looked like a man possessed. Over in the Shen family booth, that kid Shen Lang was grabbing his sister's arm and babbling like a broken faucet. Estes. Sis. I need it. If I get IT, I'll be a genius. People will respect me. Buddy, no pill fixes that kind of problem. Even the mysterious black-cloaked weirdo who'd been sitting in silence the whole night finally looked up. Creepy. Then Willow dropped the real kicker. This pill cannot be purchased with silver. Spirit stones only. Starting bid. 10 low-grade spirit stones. And just like that, 99% of the room mentally packed their bags and went home. Spirit stones are what cultivators above the golden core realm use. They're worth 10,000 times more than gold. Most families can't even scrape together one. This was now a rich people-only Thunderdome. 20. Fifth Prince fired first. 25. Shen Jingxua shot back, cool as ice. 27. Yang Tianba joined in, but weirdly calm for once. Apparently, he still had his heart set on the dragon blood grass more than this pill. At least the meathead had priorities. The price rocketed past 40 spirit stones. Enough to financially cripple a first-rate sect. I leaned back and rubbed my chin, thoroughly entertained. Little Ling, do I even need this thing? Not really, she said. You already have the Chaos Divine Demon technique and the Divine Demon body. Your foundation is more solid than any genius alive. This pill would be like putting a spoiler on a rocket ship. Cool. Popcorn mode it is. And then things got spicy. Some voice dripping with pure arrogance echoed from a booth that hadn't made a single sound all night. 50 stones. This marrow-cleansing pill belongs to the Heavenly Sword sect. Does anyone have objections? The whole room choked. Heavenly Sword sect, one of the 3 most powerful sects in the entire kingdom. Their sect master is some unfathomable sword grandmaster. And the guy talking was apparently their top disciple, Startling Swan Sword, Lin Yi, a half-step golden core prodigy, and a top 3 favorite for the dragon rankings. Every prince and noble family instantly shut their mouths. Nobody wanted smoke with those guys. The Heavenly Sword sect doesn't bow to royalty. They only respect strength. Picking a fight with them over a pill is like poking a dragon because you wanted its parking spot. Fifth Prince's face went dark, but he stayed quiet. Smart boy. Lin Yi was already looking smug when, surprise, the black-cloaked mystery person finally spoke. 51. Lin Yi's head snapped toward him like an angry owl. Who are you? You dare oppose the Heavenly Sword sect? Black Cloak didn't even acknowledge his existence. 52. You're dead. Lin Yi exploded, launching his half-step golden core sword intent straight at the guy like a missile. It got within 3 feet of Black Cloak and just vanished. Dissolved. Gone. Like throwing a rock into the ocean. 60. Black Cloak said it like he was ordering noodles. Lin Yi's face cycled through every color in the rainbow. That kind of power meant this person was at least Golden Core realm, way above his pay grade. He sat down with a bitter humph, probably questioning every life choice that led him to this moment. Willow raised her hammer, clearly enjoying the drama. 60 stones going once, 60 stones going twice. Everyone figured it was over. Black Cloak wins. Show's done. Pack it up. And then, a voice cut through the hall from the entrance, cold as a blizzard, yet carrying the iron-blooded killing intent of someone who'd waded through mountains of corpses and seas of blood. 80 low-grade spirit stones. Not loud. Didn't need to be. It sliced through every conversation like a blade through silk and dropped the entire auction house into absolute, tomb-level silence. Every single head turned toward the door. Okay, who now? Can I please go one auction without a dramatic last-second entrance? Is there a sign-up sheet for these things that I don't know about? And then she walked in, right through the front door, like the final boss entering a raid nobody signed up for. Red combat outfit. Long black hair tied back. Face so perfect it looked like God spent a whole extra week on it. Skin like snow, eyes like frozen stars. And an expression that said, I have killed more people than you've had hot meals, and I'm not done yet. The temperature in the room literally dropped. I'm not being dramatic. People were shivering. This woman carried so much killing intent just by standing there that the fancy auction hall suddenly felt like a battlefield covered in blood. This was Yi Hongwan, the #1 female war god of the entire kingdom. Also, apparently, my fiancée. Yeah, that woman is supposed to be my future wife. I just stared at her like an idiot. First time seeing her this clearly. Verdict: absolutely, devastatingly, nation-destroyingly gorgeous. Also, approximately as warm and approachable as a glacier with anger issues. My sister nudged me with her elbow, grinning like a fox. Not bad, little brother. Your future wifey's a real looker. Just a bit. Frosty, you'll have to thaw her out after the wedding, if you know what I mean. I ignored her because I was busy being confused. Why would she want the marrow-cleansing pill, though? With her power, it wouldn't do much for her. Only one reason. I answered my own question. Her useless brother. Ling Yan's face went from curious to disgusted in record time. Yihao? That walking disaster? Using this pill on him is like pouring fine wine into a toilet. The Duke's household must be truly desperate if they're counting on that clown. But I kind of understood. The Duke's family was fading, Grandpa getting old, Yihao the only male heir. This pill was their last shot at keeping the family alive. Yi Hongwan was burning through everything her master had given her just for a chance to save her brother. Say what you want about her being an ice sculpture. The girl cared about her family. 80 stones going once. 80 stones going twice. The Black Cloak guy and the Heavenly Sword sect both backed off. It was looking like she'd actually get it. Even Willow was raising her hammer. 100. A voice dripping with smugness echoed from the regular seating area. I looked down and, oh, you have got to be kidding me. I knew that guy. It was the same silk-wearing pretty boy from the restaurant a few days ago. The one who tried to hit on my sister and got slapped into next week. Apparently getting publicly humiliated didn't teach him anything, because here he was again, radiating dirtbag energy at maximum output. How does this clown have 100 spirit stones? I muttered. He was sitting in the cheap seats. No idea. Ling Yin narrowed her eyes. But whoever's backing him isn't small. Down below, Yi Hongwan's Ice Queen composure cracked just a tiny bit. 80 stones was her absolute max. She was tapped out. Done. Nothing left. She did something I never expected from someone called the Killing God. She asked nicely. Sir, would you give the Duke's household this courtesy? I, Yi Hongwan, will owe you a personal favor from the kingdom's deadliest woman warrior. That's the kind of IOU that makes emperors salivate. Any sane person would take that deal in a heartbeat. This guy? Not sane. He stood up, and his eyes crawled over her body like greasy slugs. Slowly, deliberately. The kind of look that makes you want to take a shower just from witnessing it. Give you face? Sure, I could do that. He licked his lips. Actually licked his lips, and said, if the great General Yi agrees to spend a few nights with me and be my woman, I'll just give you the pill. How about that? The silence that followed was so absolute I could hear my own blood pressure rising. Every person in that hall had the same expression, eyes wide, jaw on floor, brain completely blue-screened. This moron had just publicly propositioned the most dangerous woman in the kingdom. The woman who had literally walked through armies and come out the other side looking for more. Did this man not know what death was? You seek death. Each word came out of her mouth like it had been forged in the deepest frozen hell. Then her killing intent erupted. And this wasn't just intimidation. This was the real, concentrated, distilled essence of someone who had murdered her way through mountains of corpses. The air turned to ice. Weaker fighters went white-faced and started trembling. Some just straight up collapsed. The pretty boy's smirk froze on his face like a bug in amber. For one beautiful second, I watched his soul leave his body. But then, because of course, the old servant standing behind him stepped forward, unleashed his own massive aura, and blocked everything. Two enormous waves of power collided in midair with a sound that made my teeth ache. Protected by his bodyguard, the idiot's fear transformed right back into arrogance. Because nothing says, I'm brave, like hiding behind an old man. You don't want to? I'm doing you a favor. Don't be ungrateful, all right? That's it. I'm done watching. I don't even know why I opened my mouth. Maybe it was the audacity. Maybe it was the principle. Maybe it was because even though I'd never actually met my Ice Queen fiancée, she was technically still my Ice Queen fiancée, and this greasy weasel was out here disrespecting her in front of the entire city. My voice rang out from our booth, cold and clear, cutting through the chaos like a knife through butter. You dare set your eyes on my woman. Your guts are impressively large. But did I just publicly claim the kingdom's deadliest warrior as my woman in front of hundreds of people? Yes. Yes, I did. This is either going to be the coolest thing I've ever done or the last thing I've ever done. Honestly, could go either way. All right, time to make an entrance. I pushed open the VIP booth door, strolled out to the railing, and leaned on it like I owned the place. Mask off. Face out. Full main character energy. The crowd below looked up at me and collectively lost their minds. Chu Feng, the wastrel, the famous good-for-nothing playboy, is the guy who's been dropping hundreds of millions. Yeah, soak it in, people. The kingdom's most notorious rich idiot. That's me. Surprise. Down below, my future wife, Yi Hongwan, snapped her head up, and for the first time ever, I saw actual emotion crack through that glacier face of hers. She looked at me like she was trying to divide by zero. Like her brain was physically rejecting the information her eyes were sending it. And then there was pretty boy, silk shirt creep from the restaurant. The guy who tried to flirt with my sister and earned a face-rearranging slap for his trouble. He recognized me too. Before he could say another word, my sister appeared next to me like a fire-colored ghost and grinned down at him. Seems like that slap the other day was too gentle. Didn't stick. Then she jumped off the second-floor balcony. I say, jumped, but what I mean is she teleported. 1 second she was next to me. The next second her hand was wrapped around pretty boy's throat, and she was holding him in the air like a bag of groceries. 99% of the room didn't even see her move. Let him go. His old bodyguard freaked out and launched a palm strike at her with full Void Realm power. My sister didn't even turn around, just backhanded the attack. Boom. The old man stumbled back 3 steps, each foot punching a crater into the stone floor. Meanwhile, Ling Yin hadn't moved a single inch. Not a hair out of place. She was holding a grown man by the neck with one hand and swatting away a realm master with the other like she was shooing a fly. I love my sister. I really, truly do. She's absolutely insane, and I wouldn't trade her for anything. Pretty boy was kicking and gagging, face turning purple. Do you know who I am? Don't care, Ling Yin said, squeezing harder. You messed with my little brother. God himself could show up, and I'd still kill you. Then the old bodyguard played his trump card and screamed the magic words. This is the only son of Grand Chancellor Yin of the Great Li Dynasty. Harm one hair on his head, and you declare war against an entire empire. Record scratch. The Great Li Dynasty. An empire that could squash our kingdom like a bug. And Chancellor Yin was basically their shadow emperor. So powerful that even their actual emperor was scared of him. That's why this clown had 100 spirit stones in his pocket. That's why he had the audacity to sexually harass the kingdom's deadliest woman. He was the ultimate. Do you know who my daddy is, kid? Except his daddy could actually destroy nations. Even Yi Hongwan's expression changed. As a military commander, she understood the implications immediately. If this brat died here, his daddy would use it as an excuse to invade. Millions would die. Stop, she called out, trying to prevent a catastrophe. My sister, naturally, didn't give a single solitary damn. The Great Li Dynasty? So what? I'll kill him and see if his daddy has the guts to even breathe in my direction. And she meant it. That's the terrifying part. She absolutely, 100% meant it. Sis, let him go, I said, walking down the stairs all casual-like. She pouted. Actually pouted, like I'd taken away her favorite toy, and tossed him on the ground like a sack of garbage. Pretty boy collapsed into a wheezing, coughing heap, looking up at us with eyes full of hatred and terror. The classic bully combo, furious that someone hit him, petrified it might happen again. I squatted down next to him and gave his cheek a few friendly pats. Hitting on my woman? That's a death sentence, buddy. But since your daddy's apparently a big deal, I'll be generous. Death sentence commuted. I held up one finger. 100 spirit stones. For your life. Good deal, right? The entire room went so quiet I could hear people's brains short-circuiting. They thought I was going to let him go out of political consideration. They thought I was being the bigger man. Nope. I was robbing him. You're dreaming. Pretty boy shrieked. His old bodyguard was apoplectic. You dare extort the young master? This is outrageous. This is outrageous, I smiled. Stood up, walked right up to the old man, and looked him dead in the eye. I'm bullying you. So what? What are you going to do about it? Your young master had the nerve to look at my woman with those filthy eyes. Letting him buy his way out is already me being incredibly, unbelievably generous. I let the temperature drop from my voice. You have 3 breaths to decide. Option A, hand over 100 spirit stones and get out of my country. Option B, both of you die here. Right now? Tonight. The old man was sweating bullets. I could see the math happening behind his eyes. On one hand, I was technically just a kid at the Meridian opening realm. On the other hand, there was something coming off me that was making his survival instincts scream. And standing right behind me was my sister, who had just casually overpowered him one-handed. 1. I started counting. Nice and slow. The old man cracked. He pulled out a storage bag, threw it at me, and practically begged. The stones are all there. Can we go? I checked the bag. All 100 stones present and accounted for. Get lost. They fled. The mighty son of the great Li dynasty's most powerful chancellor ran out of that auction house like a dog with its tail between its legs, supported by his bodyguard, while the entire room watched in stunned silence. An international incident that could have started a war between 2 nations, resolved through good old-fashioned armed robbery. By me, a teenager. I am truly a diplomat of the highest caliber. The room was dead silent. Everyone was staring at me like I was some kind of monster. Which, fair. I just shook down the son of a foreign superpower for 100 spirit stones and told him to leave my country. That's not normal behavior. I tossed the storage bag to Willow on stage. 100 spirit stones. The marrow-cleansing pill is mine. She caught it, gave me a long, lingering look with those devastating eyes, smiled a smile that probably meant 17 different things, and brought the hammer down. Sold. I took the jade box with the pill in it. And then, okay, even I'm not sure what possessed me in this moment. I didn't put it away. I turned around and walked straight toward the one person in the room who I'd been trying very hard not to think too much about. Yi Hongwan. She watched me approach, and something happened that probably hadn't happened since she was a child. Her heart started racing. I could tell because for the first time, her Ice Queen mask showed a genuine crack. Not anger. Not killing intent. Something else entirely. I stopped 3 feet in front of her, close enough to see that her eyes really were as cold and beautiful as frozen stars. Every person in that hall held their breath. I looked at her. She looked at me. The playful smirk faded from my face, and for once in my life, this life, anyway, I was completely serious. I held out the jade box. She froze. Like, actually froze. The woman who didn't flinch walking through literal armies was stunned into paralysis by a guy handing her a box. You. 1 month from now, at the Dragon Rankings tournament, I said, keeping my voice steady, I'll make the top 10. I let the smirk come back. Just a little. Take this pill. Give it to your brother. Consider it an early wedding gift. And I swear, for just 1 fraction of a second, the ice melted, and underneath it, I saw something that looked an awful lot like a heart actually beating. Nailed it. The room was so quiet you could hear eyeballs moving. Everyone was staring at me like I'd just proposed to someone using a nuclear warhead, which, honestly, wasn't far from what I'd done. I just handed over a pill worth 100 spirit stones, enough to buy a whole martial sect, to a woman I'd technically never even had a conversation with. Some guys in the crowd actually looked jealous. Suddenly, useless playboy didn't sound so bad when the useless playboy was handing out god-tier pills like candy. Yi Hongwan stood there looking like she'd been hit by lightning. The 7-colored glow from the pill was practically melting the frost around her, and for once, the Ice Queen had absolutely no idea what to do with her face. What? What do you mean by this? Her voice came out all raspy. Cracks everywhere in that glacier armor. Exactly what it looks like, I said, giving the box a little push so it landed right in her arms. My woman doesn't BG people for things. And she definitely doesn't need to tolerate sleazebags drooling on her. She looked down at the pill, then back at me, and I could practically see the gears grinding behind. Those frozen eyes. You're insane, she snapped. And this was the interesting part. There was a tiny note of something in her voice that sounded almost like disappointment. For me, if you use this pill, you might actually have a shot at the Dragon Rankings. You just gave away your only chance. What are you going to fight with now? Don't need it. I shrugged. Things useless to me. She shook her head like I was a lost cause. Couldn't blame her. From her perspective, I was a talentless nobody, turning down the ultimate cheat code out of pure arrogance. But then she did something that surprised me. She kept the pill. I'll take the marrow cleansing pill, she said, snapping back to full ice mode. She pulled out a bag and tossed it to me. But here's 80 spirit stones back. The remaining 20, I owe you. As for the wedding gift, she gave me one last look. Make top 10 first. Then we'll talk. And she turned and walked away. That red outfit cutting through the light like a blade. Not a single glance back. I stood there weighing 80 spirit stones in my hand, grinning like a fox who just ate the hen house and the farmer. Let's do the math here. I started this evening with 0 spirit stones. I mugged Pretty Boy for 100, spent them on the pill, gave the pill away, and got 80 back. Net result, 80 spirit stones profit and a future wife who now owes me a favor. I am the greatest financial mind of my generation. Ling Yan sauntered over and slapped my shoulder. She's proud, that one. Want me to grab her so you can smack some obedience into her? I gave her a look. I'll handle my own wife. Thanks. Meanwhile, in the Shen family booth, things were going beautifully for my entertainment. Shen Lang slammed the table so hard I'm surprised it didn't file assault charges. That worthless trash just gave it away. Sis, why didn't you keep bidding? His sister Shen Jingxue shut him down cold. Even if we'd won it, we didn't bring enough muscle to protect it on the way home. Use your brain for once. What she didn't say out loud, but was clearly thinking. You're not worth spending that kind of money on, you useless potato. And over in 5th Prince Zhao Qian's booth, that sneaky royal cockroach was already whispering to his goons about gathering forces. Great. More problems. After the auction officially ended, Pavilion Master Lu Ruyan, because apparently the gorgeous auctioneer was actually the boss of the whole operation, invited us backstage to settle up. 260 million silver taels plus 100 spirit stones. I basically funded their entire fiscal year in one night. She gave me a look with those soul-stealing peach blossom eyes that made me involuntarily swallow. This woman was dangerous in ways that had nothing to do with martial arts. Then she dropped some actually useful intel. That gray-clothed man who bid on the Spirit King map? He's not from our kingdom. My ears perked up. He's from the Nether Sea, a lawless territory 100 times bigger than our entire kingdom. His code name is Deadwood, and he's an elder of an organization called the Blood Fiend Hall. Ling Yan's face went white. Those maniacs are here. So the creepy farmer grandmaster who threatened to rob our house was actually from some mega-dangerous criminal organization from overseas. Awesome. Just what I needed. An international crime syndicate adding to my growing list of enemies. Then Willow hit me with the real surprise. By the way, young Master Chu, you're quite the hidden talent. The whole world thinks you're the kingdom's biggest waste of space, but you're actually the masked prodigy who killed a Khanate realm expert while only being at Meridian Opening. I blinked. She knew? Every major power in the capital has been asking me to identify the masked genius. She smiled. Don't worry. Discretion is our specialty. Good. Because the last thing I needed was that getting out too. We left the auction house, and I was feeling pretty good about life. 80 new spirit stones, dragon blood grass for big guy, the Spirit King map fragment with built-in GPS, and I looked cool in front of my fiancée. Great night overall. Then we walked about 50 feet and ran into a wall of people. Yang Tianba, with an army, standing in the middle of the street like the world's angriest roadblock. Eyes red, veins popping, looking at me like I was a steak and he hadn't eaten in a week. Hand over the Spirit King map and the dragon blood grass, he roared. My sister crossed her arms and laughed. Yang Tianba, your family really has some nerve. Ambushing the Marquis household in the capital? In the middle of the street? Really, he sneered. The Marquis household? You think we care? The 5 great families don't even bow to the royal family. You think your little Chu clan is special? Then he actually said it. The most anime villain thing possible. Hand over what I want, then kneel and kowtow 3 times. Otherwise, you die, thought Buddy. Buddy, you saw what happened to the last guy who tried to flex on us tonight. He's currently running home to daddy in another country with bruises on his throat and 100 fewer spirit stones. But sure, try your luck. I picked my ear and gave Yang Tianba the most disrespectful look in my arsenal. Dude, Did you spend so long locked up in the Yang family compound that your brain rotted? You want my stuff? Come get it. I patted my storage bag like it was a puppy. Just worried your arms are too short to reach. That did it. Meathead went full tomato face and screamed, "Take them down. Kill the two women if they resist." Over a dozen Yang family elites came flying at us from every direction. These were serious fighters. Lowest level was Khanate Realm 7th stage. Some were even Golden Core. Coordinated attack formation. Very intimidating.